Live from the City of Angels, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. We shall take your calls next hour with the astrologer Mark Runner. We'll do readings too, and you will need your birth date, which you can give to Tom. You can give you a reading, or you can ask a specific question that you would like him to answer for you. So make sure you're well aware of what we got going on. March 18th, they've opened up some more seats for us in Sedona. Take advantage of it, Tommy. How do people get tickets? Well, you can get fun events. You get tickets to the Sedona Extension Retreats event this coming weekend. Our live show is Saturday night. It's a 3-day event, non-stop music, workshops, features. But our show is Saturday night. We're bringing in a band. We're going to have a ton of fun. So head over to coasttocoastam.com right now. Just go to the top in the carousel. There's all the information. I can't believe it's coming up so soon. It came up real quick, right? Yeah, it's great. And May 27th, that's coming up fast too. We're going to keep going strong. Our second show of the year is going to be at the Granada Theater in Dallas, Oregon. That's about 84 miles east of Portland. For all you Portlanders, come on out. We'd love to see you. Dr. Sky Stephen Cates will be a guest. UFO FFP Travis Walton, and from Animal Planet, Bigfoot Hunter Matt Moneymaker. A fun night, a fun time we've had by all. Of course, a band, a salute to the veterans, a live Q&A. A lot going on. So head over again to coasttocoastam.com, and we just go to the top in the carousel on both, the information for both shows are right there. What would happen if Travis Walton was beamed up right in front of us? We'd be all over the news. All right. Here's something for you to fight back any kind of virus condition.
HealthyLooking.com and Dr. Alan Millay bring 4 decades of experience in natural products for the exclusive stem cell wellness kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Millay with more.
Whether it's physical activity, obesity, diet, smoking, low in hormones, stress, sleep disorders, or your age, can be supported by reducing inflammation and aiding the body to heal itself appropriately. A stem cell is a cell waiting to be told what it needs to be. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting the body's ability to protect those cells that it needs. And that is the purpose of any stem and adaptive stem together, supporting the body to be that it can do.
Dr. Millay, how will I feel after taking adaptive stem and immune stem?
The immune stem is going to have an immediate effect. But I tell you, your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. You put adaptive stem along with it, and most will feel it within 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Millay affects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with adaptive stem and immune stem and your free gift Relaxol is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping. Order Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com. That's HealthyLooking.com.
Backseating can be taxing on your identity because all your personal information is all in one place, getting emailed, shared, and possibly exposed to identity thieves. Tax forms can be like one-stop shops for ID thieves, which means it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. Protection against identity theft is easier with LifeLock by Norton. LifeLock by Norton helps monitor your info and alerts you to potential identity threats, and if you do become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it during tax season and beyond. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can make sure your identity theft protection starts here. Join LifeLock today, save up to 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com and use promo code George. That's lifelock.com. Use promo code George to save 25% off. lifelock.com. Marvelous Entertainment and author Marvin Sunderland have released the newest in-action adventure science fiction that specifically deals with the question, are we alone in the universe? This action-packed drama includes a 7-novel masterpiece, comic books, video games, and movies of Sergeant Wagner's journeys across the universe. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series and all future graphic novels at the coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase on Marvelous.com. That's MARVALEOUS.com. For a limited time, it's back. The 1-ounce solid silver Ghana alien coin, part of the silver starter kit, exclusively at BullionMax.com/Coast. With inflation on the rise and a teetering stock market, now's the time to diversify into precious metals that you can store at your home. Go to BullionMax.com/Coast and you'll ship your silver directly to your home, fully insured. Now start building your wealth in precious metals at BullionMax.com/Coast. That's BullionMax.com/Coast. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie back with astrologer Mark Woodard. So Mark, as you well know, over the weekend, 2 major banks took a dive. They had a run on them and they failed. Government steps up and said, we're protecting all the assets and deposits. What do you make of this?
Well, the downloading story after story is, again, what I make of all this is each one of these crises, because I've studied all the financial panic and crises, stock market crashes, things that happened in the 1800s. And as an example, you could just remember October 19, 1987, it was called Black Monday. Okay, 1-day crash of the New York Stock Exchange is still the largest percentage drop of the New York Stock Exchange, even bigger than 1929. The 1929 whole process was actually 2 different days between a Thursday and a Tuesday and a weekend. And that was just before Pluto was discovered. And the beginning of that week, that's why that created the Great Depression, because Pluto was undiscovered. And then, and this is amazingly synchronistic, George. What I make of all this is, what yesterday was the anniversary of the discovery of the planet Uranus, or Uranus. William Herschel, 1781, okay? And because Pluto was then discovered by this young 24-year-old, he was nicknamed Comet Clyde Tomba. He took over his personal role over there in Flagstaff, Arizona, where I sit. And I get Astronomy magazine. I studied astronomy, for even longer than astrology.
You could be this.
I actually took an astronomy class at our Michigan State, where you took the went to school. I took an astronomy class there. Just the beginning of that. But I get Astronomy magazine out of Wisconsin. Just to give them a plug. I mean, I just love everything about all the space missions, the Voyager missions. Then we get things like Star Trek, Star Wars, and all these fantastic movies and things like that. And I've studied all the astrology of directors and actors and actresses. I mean, that's some of my personal kind of thing. And as I said before, I've done thousands of readings for individuals, and then I do all this other work with my other hat, which is the war situation. Now, regarding the banking thing, like in front of me, I have the data. This is what's important I want people to know. When you start a business, somebody's creating an LLC, right, where you deposit money, if you do something at an auspicious time, which is why I've been writing this calendar, then you can get positive energy because, like for instance, right Pi Day, March 14th, and it never used to be called Pi Day.
Mathematical Pi Day.
Yeah, it's 2.14, and guess what? Albert Einstein was born, I wanted to bring this in, March 14th, 1879. So he's Mr. Pi Day. And 5 years ago today, Stephen Hawking passed away on Pi Day. Now, that is pretty remarkable. One other thing is that I always appreciate mentioning Walter Planet Earth. This was a mundane Earth astrology magazine, in print, newspaper magazine. It went to the White House, didn't go to the Reagan White House, although I kept having dreams and visions, because before I ever got into astrology, I kept a dream notebook, dream interpretation, sort of set me on this whole path. You probably know these names like In Search of the Miraculous, P.D.F. Dempsey and George Regia, and these kind of psychics, and Rudolf Steiner, and Edgar Casey, of course. That's how I got into all of this. I was doing all of that. And on March 14th, 61 years ago, today, I had my only and most profound out-of-body experience. And the thing was evident all of it. See, I wrote a book called Mysteries of Venus, which is now out of print because I self-published it in 1986. But on my app, on the Astrology Cosmic Calendar app, I do these astrology and mini podcasts of like 5 or 6 minutes, and I read the Mysteries of Venus. And from there, I describe what happened 6 years ago today on Pi Day. And at that point, 51 years ago, Jesus March 14th. And all I was saying, I won't get into the whole thing, but you're turning people on, right? Out-of-body experiences, UFOs, abductees, and so on. And this has been, you've asked me this before. One of the things I just wanted to say here is Kenneth Arnold, the man who basically gave us the term flying saucers on June 24th of 1947, because he was the pilot, not far from where I'm living up here in the Northwest, and he's the one who saw the disc, and it's kind of forced to see like flying saucers, because he said they were skipping over water, and he gave a metaphor, right? And that was 2 weeks before Roswell. And what I wanted to say was, he was born a week before my father. My father was a doctor who was a captain in the U.S. Army overseas in World War II. And Kenneth Arnold was the super pilot. And remember our good friend, Colonel Corso? And it was terrible what the press did to him. And I just saw the other day, some representative said, we are back engineers. And this is amazing. And I didn't see anybody giving credit to Colonel Corso, who also was born a month after my dad, and who was part of the Eisenhower staff, right? These people, it's like in the UFO area. All I'm saying is because this has been part of my life of studying these dates. And then suddenly I look at these people. Why is Kenneth Arnold born a week before my father? Why is Philip Corso born a month after my father? And I study all of these UFOs. Now, my dad never experienced the UFO or anything like that, but I've been writing about them, and the astrology of all that is part of my podcast and everything else. One little point here. So, I won't get the whole story about what happened to me with the out-of-body experience, but I do want to say this, because this is a really important thing. I've never said it before on this show. My spiritual studies before I went to the Sinful community, and I still do this part of what's called the Tibetan Master DK. It's called the Alice Daily Teachings, and a lot of you people listening will know what that is. I worked near the United Nations for 2 years, and there were full moon meetings and different kinds of things that happened, and that I worked with full moon on a very spiritual level. Full moons have always been like scary, and particularly when there's an eclipse. New moon, which is a total solar eclipse or an annual eclipse.
That's when they a werewolf, right?
Well, as a kid, those movies really frightened me, and that's what all that lore, with werewolves and changing, into an animal. Things like, look at these movies we've had, Twilight, and all these strange shows that have suddenly hit, for the last 20 years, right? Shapeshifters and so on. And so, look, you have been part of all these different programs, and you have so many different guests, right? All the time about all these different subjects. The thing I want to say is that the realm of what we might call angels, or an angelic sort of particle of our lives. And even Rain wrote all kinds of things about angels. All I can tell you is my study shows that there's a whole other evolution, and this is also part of Sinful, and the idea of what's called this idea. So all I'm saying is, like, I encountered and experienced, apparently, people in ancient times, like the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx, there is a lore, as maybe some of the people on your show have talked about, that people were initiated either through this possibly, in the lost years were one piece. From when he was a teenager to 33. If we think of that, there's all these stories about going to Glastonbury shock, or was he possibly initiated the Great Pyramid? See what I mean? Because
some say he went to Egypt. Who knows, right?
And all I can tell you is, I read, there was a person named Edouard Touré. He's a French mystic. I mean, he wrote books like 100 plus years ago about Plato, Moses, Pythagoras, Jesus, and one was a book on Hermes, or basically the other name for Mercury. And Hermes was this great god of ancient Egypt that supposedly was sort of a god-man who came from the heavens to direct the creation of the Great Pyramid. And I studied this before I ever got into astrology about the Great Pyramid, the Bermuda Triangle and all these things. All I'm saying is my out-of-body experience was I was basically transported into something, and I was studying what was called the Great Initiate about this whole thing of an initiation in the pyramid from another life, from another lifetime thousands of years ago. That happened to me. Now, all I can tell you is that it introduces the idea of angels, gazers, and that each one of us can't be actually alive unless we have what we might call traditionally a guardian angel. Each one of us has one. Otherwise, we can't live as a human being. There's a lot of different, it's not just the studies I have. This is all over the world, okay? And it's sometimes on some of these ancient alien shows, and it's connected to UFOs and ETs. It's a fascinating field, that's what I can say.
Mark, let's talk about some of these events that have been happening all over the place. I'm really concerned about Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
Do you see anything astrologically there that we should know about?
Well, here's an amazing thing right now. Today is the last quarter moon. Okay, we have new moon, full moon. It's new moon, then first quarter moon, when the sun and moon are what we call square at right angles, and then we have a full moon and a last quarter. What are you asking that question? I know during some of these intermittent breaks, somebody would talk about the Ukraine war or something like that. The sun is in Pisces right now, the moon is in Sagittarius, and on February 24th of last year, the same exact sun and moon pattern. So you're asking that question, and we're seeing what's happening in Bakhmut, right? We've reported that happened with the drone, right? With the Black Sea today, okay? And each one of these things, where it gets back to, we talked about before, like with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then remember we didn't really have clear communication. We had to get like telegrams and different things between Kennedy and Khrushchev. And this is the other area of study, particularly John F. Kennedy, as well as the nuclear accident, or what it calls, nuclear energy. Charting for all these things, because everything like we're talking about can be charted. I have in front of me the Silicon Valley Bank beginning on October 17, 1983. I have all of these charts. There's a corner chart that George Washington signed on April 2nd of 1792. I mean, how many people out there know that the actual beginning of the American dollar, right, federally, is based on a silver Spanish coin? So, eventually, from April 2nd of 1792, I mean, we have these paper dollars, we have credit cards, we have all these different things. Now we've got cryptocurrency. But the foundations of America, right, and this is what's fascinating looking at the history of finance, go back to these different dates. And you see what I do is I study the astrology, and it's all of these happening events. The October 19, 1987, largest single crash in the New York Stock Exchange, the chart for that day is directly connected to the great stock market crash of October 1929. And if we're not careful, George, October 28th of this year, when the lunar eclipse, the partial lunar eclipse is not total. The day or two before on October 28th of this year, then the eclipse and the day or two after are like an echo. Okay, so I don't ever say on the show, okay, this is what's going to happen. I know 100%. You know what I mean? But the point is, the energies are there. And look at what's happening. Again, we're achieving the patterns in 2008 in terms of the timing of the year. Look, tomorrow is March the 15th, okay? On March 17th, why is there, sir? We just had Biden yesterday say our system of banking is safe.
But I defend the Russia and Ukraine.
Huh?
I defend the Russia and Ukraine.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, the problem is because the way I look at all of this is that Vladimir Putin sees or he, right? You had questions about that. They see how we get embroiled in all of these things with banking and so on, and we put out all our dirty laundry. And at the same time, there's that whole attack over there today in the Black Sea. And it's the miscommunication that I worry about. I see that as going on for a really long time, but that I don't see Vladimir Putin as like backing off or doing any kind of thing like that.
Do you see them staying in office?
Well, he's been in there for 23 years, and that's the other thing. We have all these different presidents and changes of administration, and he has been in there an incredibly long time. So let's not forget who he is. He is a USSR, former KGB agent from East Germany. He was a charge to the Soviet Union from 1970, and it's directly connected to him. And the charge to Stalin and Lenin and so on are all connected to him. Things like Peter the Great and so on. We're dealing with a person who is looking at things for hundreds of years from an authoritarian viewpoint. My grandmother was born in what we call now Ukraine, but when she was born, it was actually Russia. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, because they see that as their territory. But the world has changed, you see. And so what keeps happening is like Vladimir Putin is living in this other world of the demise of the Soviet Union, and he wants that whole empire to come back.
So you don't see an ending quickly, do you?
No, I do not. I don't see like any kind of peace with it, that kind of thing. And Zelensky and so on. I mean, by the way, part of the thing is who's related to Mars and who's related to me. Vladimir Zelensky is born on the day of the Sun of Venus conjunction, and that can only happen every 9.5 months. Joe Biden is born on the day of the Sun of Venus conjunction. They are what I call the nucleus. They want peace. Whereas tonight, the moon is in Sagittarius on what we call the galactic center. The moon is exactly today crossing Vladimir Putin's Mars. And what did they do? They interfered with our drone in the Black Sea. We're saying it's international, space.
It's another mess, Mark. It's another mess. We're going to come back and take calls with you next. We'll tell you what we need when we roll like that. Always on your phone? Then you'll be happy to know the Coast website is now optimized for mobile users. Just point your iPhone or Android browser to coasttocoastam.com and enjoy. Over the years, I've devoured thousands of inspiring, thought-provoking quotes, and now I'm passing that knowledge on to you in my new daily life. I see drive in. I'll break down why these words matter and reveal certain stories to children and parents in my life. Listen to I see stories every week on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Oh, the times are waiting on St. Patty's Day. Now, this coverage is specific on the
St. Patrick's Day preview. Get a free plus label Tuesday, March 17th.
number 2.
Get a Coast to Coast so when you earn 500 points on the reward card. This Monday through 21st.
As the number 1 reason.
We work hard for you. That's why electronic readers voted up the best casino in the Southland.
Rolando, good time. You can listen to KFI everywhere. Like you haven't noticed. This woman had a fancy on an airplane. She was a bunch of a-holes on the plane. How late is it going to be? Can you just play again? No! Come on! Get the start box! Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. You put all the questions, whether you think they pertain to your sector or not, we just have one form. Here's what I do. In a regular medical procedure or whatever, you pick a form. Yeah, and ask the question, are you pregnant? I just say yes. They'll handle. And then go, you figure it out. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. And have a new flavor. The radio flavored Coca-Cola. That's either that product, right? Handle low, no. Oh, you want a soda that tastes like Bill Handle? Not Bill Handle. I don't even want to go there. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KMR. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. You know what? Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the fancy sinkhole. I'm Bree Tennis in the KFI 24-hour news portal. A big sinkhole that's developed in Beverly Hills. Police have shut down northbound Bentley Drive to Coldwater Canyon until further notice. They say there's a detour in place. City crews will start to work on that sinkhole later today. Thousands of school workers in LA say they're ready for a 3-day strike starting today. 30,000 non-teaching social workers are asking for more money. If they strike, the district's 35,000 teachers are expected to walk out as well. Right now, they say schools will be in session today. President Biden taking action to curb gun violence as he met with survivors of a recent mass shooting in Monterey Park.
This executive order helps keep firearms out of dangerous hands. As I continue to call on Congress to require background checks for all firearms sales.
Back in January, 11 people were shot and killed in Monterey Park in a predominantly Asian American community after a Lunar New Year festival. The Orange County Board of Supervisors have declared a local state of emergency. The county is now dealing with mudslide, hillside slippage, and flooding. This declaration will release funding to help them with the cleanup. If you're looking for a new dog, the Long Beach Animal Shelter has 120 dogs looking for homes. They're even waiving adoption fees throughout the month. Russia says the U.S. drone that was downed earlier this week was not their fault. The AIDS Healthcare Foundation is turning the historic insurance exchange building in downtown L.A. into homeless and low-income housing. After renovations are complete, the new residence will be called Angel Tower. It will offer 251 living spaces. And you can now take a class on pop superstar Taylor Swift. Stanford University says they'll take a deep dive into her 2012 song All Too Well. Schools in Texas and New York have also added classes focused on the Grammy-winning singer. Southline weather from KFI. Rain continues to leave us by late afternoon. Highs near 60. Right now it's 59 in La Habra. With Mixer at 58, 56 for Marina Del Rey, and it's 57 degrees in Hollywood. We leave local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis.
In South LA, this is on the 110 southbound at Florence Avenue. We have a crash ticket up the middle lanes there. You drive to stop and go from just after Gage Avenue. In Long Beach, this is on the 710 southbound connector to the 91 eastbound. That transition is going to be shut down due to flooding. Watch for the lanes as you approach. And in Upland, this is on the 10 westbound right before Euclid Avenue. Cleanup crews from an earlier crash out of lanes and on the right shoulder. KFI, the Sky Hills, get you there faster. I'm Brownie and Van. Spring travel season is almost here, and whether you're planning to jet off to Japan or cruise around Greece, don't forget to add language learning to your itinerary. The Rosetta Stone app will transform the way you travel. Learn useful words and phrases that will not only help you get around more easily, but also have more meaningful experiences with the new people and places you'll discover. Through March 22nd, get 40% off a lifetime subscription to all 25 of Rosetta Stone's languages. Purchase today at rosettastone.com. Hey, it's Steam Sharp. Clean and healthy water is essential for living your best life. Life Source is the whole house water system that will change that life. Life Source gives you filtered and delicious water from every tap, filtering out the bad, keeping the good, no maintenance needed. And right now, new customers can get a free Apple-Pure antibacterial filter with qualifying purchase. That's an $825 value. So call Life Source today at 800-803-2696 or go to lifesourcewater.com. Life Source, faith and feel the difference. 3M Senior Concert presents Medicare Scan. If you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. Never get off your Medicare number. They want to get your number, put in a false claim.
Just hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud? Just like I check my credit card statement, I check my Medicare statement monthly.
If you check your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it. Call the Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call 855-613-7080. I'm Attorney Gary Capanosi, founder of 1-800-NO-COP, reminding you to exercise your right to just shut up. It doesn't make you look guilty, it makes you look smart. 1-800-NO-COP, because no one looks good in handcuffs unless you're into that sort of thing. 1-800-NO-COP. 30/7/2025, you may need a real ID before domestic flight, and there's never been a better time to apply than right now. Give yourself the freedom of travel when and where you want, from sporting events and family reunions to romantic vacations, or even a weekend getaway with friends. Real ID is your ticket to fly. There's no need to wait. Visit CaliforniaRealID.org today to start the online Real ID application from the comfort of home. DMV Online. Ready when you are. Hey, Steven Shark, if you're planning on going solar or even thinking about going solar, then listen up. Time is running out to secure the best possible solar reimbursement with the state of California. Last year, the state and your utility company got together and changed the way new solar systems get reimbursed for the power they produce. And as you can guess, it's not as good for you and me. In fact, it's about 75% less than the old system. The good news is there is a grandfathering period, and you can still permanently lock in those amazing rates. But time is running out. The deadline to have the solar documents filed is April 14th. So how do you do that? You start by calling Sunlux, and calling today. Sunlux will walk you through how to lock in the current rate. Even if you're not ready to install the system, it's okay. Call Sunlux and get your documents filed. There is no time to waste to lock in the best returns on solar power that you will ever see. Start today at sunlux.com. Sunlux.com. PFLB 1003744.
Angels and accidents, visit superwoman.com. Activity, call the girls and boys.
Call the KFI AM 640.
Do the thing. You know you didn't know him that long, Lee. Who thought that I know? Why? I didn't really know him that long.
To talk to George Norrie, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George 97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. This hour we'll take your calls with Mark Lerner, the astrologer. We need your birth date information. Get it to Tom, and then you can ask a question or ask for a specific reading, and we'll take it from there. CC Radio 3 happens to be what is called the Almost Everything Radio, with the addition of Bluetooth, and you now have an immense palette of radio shows available and podcasts from any smartphone or speaker. If you listen primarily to voice content and love it, the CC Radio 3 is well worth the price all by itself. The audio quality for the spoken word sounds like we're sitting right next to you. Separate bass and treble controls can be adjusted to your perfect pitch to immerse yourself in audio clarity. The CC Radio 3 has great reception for long-range AM and FM stations, along with the emergency capability like the NOAA weather and the 2-meter ham van where ham radio operators are there to give you info. It runs on the included power cord or a set of batteries for more than 170 hours. To order the CC Radio 3, call Q Crane at 1-800-522-8863. Once again, that's 1-800-522-8863, or visit them online at qcrane.com. Also available at REI and Bimart and Amazon.com. Marvelous Entertainment and author Marvin Sunderland have released the newest in action-adventure science fiction that specifically deals with the question, are we alone in the universe? This action-packed drama includes a 7-novel masterpiece, comic books, video games, and movies of Sergeant Waggott's journeys across the universe. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series and all future graphic novels Enter coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase on marvelous.com. That's MARVALEOUS.com.
The Angie Wood you know and trust is now Angie, and there's so much more to it. We still connect you with top local pros and show you readers and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
And welcome back to Coast. George Dory with the astrologer Mark Lerner. We're going to take your calls this hour here. Mark, how do you see 2023 shaping up? Is it going to be a good year for the rest of us?
Well, every day there are opportunities, and I've been writing about that for 42 years, cosmic calendar. So when people get it one day at a time for free on their iPhone, start your cosmic calendar and take, or you can try it. It's not that expensive. You can go into the future. It helps you to become literally a budding astrologer. And every day there are opportunities. The moon changes, the sun changes, the different what we call mathematical alignments or aspects. So literally, like right now, as we're doing the show, the moon and Venus are making what we call a trine, a triangular relationship in fire signs. And that's auspicious. Just for being on the show, sharing with everybody, and whatever people want to do. And that is lasting for many hours. And so every day there are opportunities. The one thing I want to say is next week we're having the equinox, which always happens, or what we call the spring equinox.
Monday, right?
Yes. And that's going to be on Monday. But I'm calling it the equinox week because Pluto is about to shift gears from Capricorn, an earth sign, into Aquarius. And that's actually going to take 2 years. But that happens on March 23rd, a couple of days after the equinox. And the day after the equinox, which is the sun going into Aries, the first fire sign, then we get a new moon. So the sun and moon come together on March 21. Pluto goes into Aquarius and starts a whole big series of changes that's very profound, both with mundane and earth astrology and for all of us as individuals. Aquarius is an air sign, the universal air sign, has a lot to do with roots, healing activities, and global causes where hopefully we'll all working together as brotherhood and sisterhood. So Pluto is the planet of the underworld, and it has lots of power. And then Mars has been hanging out in Gemini since August 20th of last year. But it went retrograde on just before Halloween, and then went forward on January 12th. So instead of going through a sign, which is normal for the planet Mars, traditionally related to war, but also agriculture and sports and so on, Mars has been in Gemini for like 6 to 7 months. And it will go into the sign Cancer, water sign, on March 23rd. But the next week is really powerful, and literally tomorrow, the sun is with Neptune, the planet of dreams and visions and creative artistry and psychic abilities. And that only happens once a year. So the cosmic calendar teaches people to tune into that and so many other reports that are on discount on the website and really learn about themselves and take advantage of the really good cycles.
All right, Mark, we're going to give you the birth date first, and I'll tell you whether they have a question or just a straight reading from you, and then we'll go to the caller. You ready?
Yes.
First one is March 29, 1958. Susan wants a reading. Susan from Roseville, California. March 29, 1958 with a reading. Welcome to the program. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Mark and George. Nice to get through, and I'm the first caller.
The first one up. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
You want the reading?
Okay, well, of course, you are an Aries sun sign, and one of the things that just happened over this past weekend, and still happening, is we've had a very rare Jupiter and Chiron, two major planets, and an astro called Vesta, which relates to solar system energy. So you've just been kind of blessed with Jupiter, which is the planet of the power of cosmic thinking and abundance, enthusiasm, and so on. So that's just happened, Jupiter on your sun. And that only happens every 12 years. In the meantime, Chiron is the shaman and mentor, and here we are having this conversation. And so I hope that some kind of shaman, mentor, spiritual energies are at work, and of course you're on coast to coast having this conversation. You have the moon in the home sign of Cancer if you're born in the morning or early part of the day, and that brings you an enormous amount of psychic energy. So whether it's some people who are sunshine cancers or if you have Cancer rising or planets in that sign, actually all the water signs bring a lot of psychic energy. You have to look at the whole chart when I do more my vast readings, which are on the website, because you do that or somebody else, if you know that wants to get into great depth, that's why people go and do the readings with me. But, I love the energy in your chart, and you walk the first corner, and you're the sun is in the first sign of the zodiac, and you have all this abundant psychic energy of the planet Jupiter giving you a really good energy field, right at this time, and the fact that we're on the show together. So keep studying new things, and you also have a lot of leadership skills, because the moon is in what we call a cardinal sign, the first water sign of the zodiac, and the sun is in literally the first sign, and that represents doing something where you're in charge and a leader, so that you're not a follower.
All right, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. Next caller up, birthday, December 8th, 1963. David in Sarasota, Florida wants to read it. Hey, David, welcome to the program.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good to have you with us. Go ahead, Mark.
Now, that was December, right?
December 12/8/63.
Right, December 8th, okay. So I said earlier, the moon is currently in Sagittarius, okay? That's your sun sign. So every person born November 23rd into just before the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, you are a sun sign Sagittarius. So sun sign Sagittarius is basically goals. The keynote, the spiritual keynote of your sign is, I see the goal, I reach that goal, and then I see another. Long distance journeys, whether it's physical, where you're traveling around a whole lot. Most Sagittarius, sometimes people kind of can't sit still. So there's this sort of, in fact, in medical astrology, Sagittarius is related to the thighs and running and walking. We're often, that's how you get inspiration. So, like, you would never want to be a couch potato, so to speak. That would be the worst thing for Sagittarius. So you have to be on the go. Okay, and when you're born, if you're born in the early part of the day or in the early afternoon, you have a moon in Virgo, which is interesting because the last caller was born with what we call a square pattern of 90 degrees between Aries and Cancer. That's a fire and a water sign. And you're a fire sign with an earth moon of moon in Virgo. And the lunar part of the person often relates to your past lives, something you're bringing in with you. And that skill set is being an analytical person, which is very different than the Sagittarian part of you, which is more like the big picture of life. So your lunar energy, which is more instinctual, is know the details, focus on the nitty-gritty, whether in business or different activities, so that it's kind of like both the telescope and the microscope. These are big things in your life. Look at the big picture, but also know what's happening with the small details.
How about that, David?
Well, that's great. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety lately with doggone red tie still in my starter kitchen business.
Oh, man.
Well, by the way, one other little comment to you. The first person had Jupiter, which can only be in a sign for about a year. He's the sun sign Aries, you just called. Okay, Susan. So Jupiter was the power of positive thinking and benevolence and potential prosperity. Well, you had Jupiter in Aries, so you just had Jupiter come back. This actually happened to you a couple of times. So I'm sorry if there's been problems in your industry and so on. But the thing is, keep the faith and know that you're on the show here, right? You get through. You know how many people don't get through? And I have Jupiter rising. So stay in touch with me. Come to the website, take a look around. There's a lot of complimentary material. You've got 40% off on individual astrology course. Get into your chart somewhat if you can do that. And I think that would really help you because Jupiter is still in its own position. It's what we call a Jupiter return. And that only happens every 12 years.
Mark, we're going to go to some more calls, but tell us about the GPS Astrology Magazine.
Okay, so I did, as you are so kind, Welcome Planet Earth in print. It kind of seems like a long time ago, from 1981 to 2000. And that was a newspaper and a magazine. Well, literally when it began, my second daughter was born. Now she's grown up. And then she told me a couple of years ago, hey, Dad, we could create an online magazine and she has all these design skills. So last August, and then in October, and then recently on January 6th, and the next one is on April 5. These published now quarterly, and the spirit is really taking astrology to the next level, which is instead of it just being an end in itself, like with all the computers and all the AI and everything, that that astrology for, shall we say, 21st century and entering the Aquarian age has this idea of goodwill is love in action, and all your needs will be met, and we just need to learn what our true needs are and also help one another. It's kind of the global brotherhood and sisterhood of the Aquarian age. So it's on a high level. If people go to the website at JakeRenterprises.com, at the top they'll see something called GPS Astrology. You can read completely complimentary to the previous 3 issues, and then subscribe and just keep learning more about what we're doing with astrology.
Next up, 21050. Michael in New Jersey wants a reading. Hey, Michael, welcome to the program.
Hello, I would just like to thank all the good things that you do for people, George, and also your screener is phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Mike. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, Michael, we are somewhat timeless because I'm born 1 month after you. You're born 1 month before me, and you're in Sunshine Aquarius, which is my rising sign. And Aquarius, as a sun sign, this is a phenomenal energy, and it looks like if you're born kind of late morning or afternoon or evening, then you have Sagittarius moon, which is where the moon is now. So Aquarius for your sun sign, which is a phenomenal position, I was just saying, for the new age of where we're going. And nobody knows, even the field of astrology, did it begin, will it begin? It's not a question. We're not going to wake up one day and people say, oh, that's the age of Aquarius. It lasts for like 2,106 years. But you've come in, I believe we're all told in person, sort of influencing ourselves with personality. So we have a soul, spiritual life. And I don't force this on my clients and friends that they have to believe in reincarnation, but I've studied that, in so many different cultures for the last 50 plus years. So you deliberately, like all of us, come in with the sun sign, Aquarius, and moon and Sagittarius. That combination of sun and moon is very sort of out there, the big picture of life. So part of it is like you have to experiment. People who are sun sign Aquarians need to do things that are a little bit quirky, that are a little bit different. But the big thing is really being a part of a group, okay? Group, team sports, team activities, that's where you can really thrive and sort of illuminate your friends, brothers and sisters and so on. The Sagittarius mean that you have links you back to another lifetime where you were a sun sign Sagittarius, like a global traveler, somebody who was always looking over the next horizon. And again, the keynote with Aquarius is more connected to working together in partnership and sort of universality. The Sagittarian theme is I see the goal, I reach that goal, and then I see another, kind of like the archer on horseback, aiming at the bullseye and just wanting to see what's over the next hill.
Does that help you,
I
Michael?
just say, I don't know what it is. I just want to go viral. And I know I can say that. Yeah, this is so wonderful. I have gone like 2 years streaming my life. And no shit, kids, I never get anybody watching. Why? Because I'm going 6 different streams at once. And it's really hard to get people to lock into that. So wouldn't you know it, I started doing this thing on Discord, and man, I'm getting like 22 people an hour just on one stream. I'm getting like 50 people an hour. Now I'm telling you, before I would get like over the course of 24 hours, maybe 1 or 2 people. But now I'm getting like a lot of people per hour over Discord, and I'm just very, very excited about that. And I would have never gotten into Discord had it not been for Angry Ape, NFT, and that comic board, and getting signed up for that. So shout out to Angry Ape. I hope this happens because I have really worked hard for it. And if it does go big, man, Angry Ape is just going to be blown out of the proportion. It's going to be the biggest NFT in global history. But I'm just really excited about that. It's really nice seeing views. Like actually, like I got 22 views on this. People watching for like 11 minutes. Like that's a hell of a lot longer than I've ever gotten in any of my previous times. And I'm talking months and months, years and years. I never get this much traffic. So I'm really excited. This has all happened in the last 24 hours.
Birthday, May 22nd, 1960, Mark. Let's go to Linda in Rochester, New York. She has a question. First time caller. Hi, Linda.
Hi, George.
All you have to do is type ViralRabbi on YouTube and filter by live, and you can watch me live on 6 different streams right now. And the way that I got a bunch of people to come to my stream is, if you've seen, I got that like virally like thing that says like "You might stream blah 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 blah." And it's got an angry right in the middle of it, and I got that as my avatar. And I went to the Fortnite Discord, and I just posted up right there in the #1 position. And all these people come in and check it out, and like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they check out my YouTube. It is an amazing, amazing way to market myself. And I'm just telling you, like, honestly, Discord has been a game changer, and I would never have gotten onto it or been this serious about it had not been for Andrew.
Sometimes people are the end of course. The year that's when the sun and Gemini person. So in love, part of the thing was watch out for duality, like is this the right person or not, and never knowing 100%. And one of the things.
Oh no, actually, well, I do have my own Discord, but it's hard because not all that many people use Discord. So what I've done is just go to the Fortnite Discord. I'm on a bunch of Discords right now. I have like 6 different accounts. So I'm on the Mid-Journey Discord, and all I do is just post up in this big Mid-Journey Discord where it's a stage. There are like 67 people on this, and they just check out my avatar, and they get interested in it, and then they see that my avatar is connected to all of my social media. And then they just start clicking all of that stuff. And I'm telling you, it's been an amazing amount of momentum that I've gotten just over the last 24 hours. I mean, I would say over the course of 24 hours, I've had at least 100 people, way more than 100 people in my stream, when before I wouldn't get that in 2 or 3 months. It's just really hard because there's so much content out there. I'm very excited about this. Discord's a great way to market yourself as well.
Love is important, empathic is important. These are all kinds of things. So you can look at love issues and other kinds of things in your own cycles through something called dialogue and timeline. They're all discounted 40% to the individual course because that's accessible for everybody, not just with coast to coast, but because I'm on the show, it's for everybody, anybody listening.
All right, good luck, Linda. Hope it works out for you. Most of the time, Mark, what do people want to know?
Word Mockingbird. I got more content than any person in global history. So when that happens and it starts to get momentum, people will see. No person that's been on camera in human history more than I have. It's making a big fucking celebrity. Data is the #1 resource in the entire world. More than water, more than air, more than food, more than petroleum, more than gold. And I'm the king of data. I have far more data than any person in global history. I have 10 times more data than Mr. Beast does on YouTube. And I am up there with the highest people who've ever generated data in the entire world. I mean, I'm up there with like Regis Philbin and Betty White for as much time as I've been on camera. It's incredible.
To move people around, you're still going to be here, like this woman, she's a sun in Gemini, okay? You're still going to be the same sun sign, but there's all these advances in astrology, so we can do reports and say, okay, you're born in San Francisco, but what would you like in Chicago, or New York City, or Tokyo? And we have those abilities, so it's really fascinating. But it's any subject, George, and sometimes people say, look, I want a whole thing. Business, health, love, whatever it is, travel, and opportunities to change their lives for good.
You've studied UFOs in connection with astrology. What's the tie-in there?
Oh, Lord. Well, again, my podcast section called Ask the Scope, Mark Lerner Astrology Radio. They're all complimentary. And I got into this a long time ago, I said in the first hour. Growing up, I loved the day the Earth stood still. As a little kid, the first one, black and white, not the one that came out later with Keanu Reeves, which is okay, but the first one was like absolutely amazing. Spaceship, hope you don't spoil it, he was landing on the White House lawn. And by the way, the director was Robert Wise, that 14 years later...
I agree. I really think that generations from now will study this from a research perspective. Like a time capsule, we've seen the death of a queen and the birth of AI and everything in between. It'll be very, very exciting.
What the government, not just the U.S. government, but all the governments in the world. There's something, you had people on before. Some of these people have passed away. The fellow Stanton and so on, it means about Majestic and all these different things. If I'm allowed to say that, I mean, what happened with the, under the Truman Eisenhower administration.
You're absolutely right. I actually have a radio that goes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it always gives you the date on the news that's going on in the day, and we just listen to it and it's going all the time. So you'll always know where you are in the timeline by the radio.
So I can tell people right now the planet Chiron, which is a small cometary body, is very connected to all of this stuff. And we didn't discover it until 1977 when Star Wars came out.
Hold on for a second, Mark. We'll be back to wrap things up and take a final call.
a very good idea. I'll have to do that. Absolutely. I know she's still alive. Queenie knows that we're doing this for world peace. We want to make everybody aware of it. So we got to get these conversations in while we can.
I'm returning to the KFI 24-hour newsroom. President Biden spoke with survivors of the Monterey Park shooting yesterday. He's proposing a new gun ordinance pushing better background checks. Assemblymember Chris Ward has proposed legislation to broaden the atmospheric river program to link reservoir and flood control operations. He says doing this will increase storage of rainfall and reduce the risk of flooding. Caltrans has closed many off-ramps and streets due to flooding. All southbound lanes at PCH from Sea Point Street to Warner Avenue and Huntington Beach are now closed. The northbound I-5 off-ramp at Lincoln Ave in Anaheim is closed until further notice. Northbound 5 off-ramp at Broadway in downtown is closed. The southbound 5 off-ramp at Lancaster Boulevard in Sun Valley is also closed. Southbound weather from KFI. Showers could leave us by late afternoon. Highs near 60. Right now it's 59 in Fullerton, 57 in Newport Beach, Santa Monica is 56, and it's 55 in Thousand Oaks. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Kennedy.
In the city of industry, this is on the 60 westbound at Crossroads Parkway. We have vehicles from an earlier path. Take care for TRILLIONAIRE. Watch for the lanes as you approach. And in Valencia, this is on the 5 northbound at Valencia Boulevard. We have a crash and pick up the 2 right lanes there. You're seeing delays in that area. Southgate, we have good news. Earlier crash on the 710 southbound at Firestone Boulevard has been cleared from lanes. Your drive recovered in that area. KFI, the sky hope to get you there faster on Friday, man. What would you do if the secret cabal of the most powerful folks in the United States told you, hey, let's cut a tree? Back in the 1930s, a man named Stubby Butler was all that stupid in the U.S. Exactly. I'm Ben Boyd. I'm out for
And I'm Smedley Butler. Join us for this sordid tale of ambition, treason, and what happens when evil tycoons have too much time on their hands.
Listen to Let's Start a Tree on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite show. How much do you think your home is worth this year? Do you think it's going to be worth the same next year? If you're thinking about borrowing on your home equity, your odds of getting more out of your home is probably higher now than it will be next year. I certainly believe that. Some experts predict that property values might decline over the next few years, making it more challenging for borrowers to tap into that home equity. If you need $75,000 or more, HMS Capital can help you borrow the money you need with the equity you've built. So whether you want to consolidate debt, make home improvements, whatever your situation may be, HMS Capital, they have the best solution to help you. No appraisal, credit report fees to apply. I've done 2 mortgages with HMS Capital. Clearly, I'm a fan. I believe they are simply the best at what they do. Call 833-255-5698, 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. The smallest movement.
What a nice
Walking or stretching can make you feel happier and healthier.
What's the dance line here?
I don't think that.
Don't you want the serotonin and the dopamine and the endorphins? You shake your booty a little bit?
Jerry and Shannon.
Don't you feel those endorphins?
Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. If you're involved in a mildly engaging activity, it does free up your mind for creative thinking. That's like walks are really good, showers are good, you want just a little bit of stimulation.
What a water waster you are.
It's coming in to see you help.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Yesterday don't matter if it's gone. While the sun is bright, or in the darkest night, no one knows. He comes
To talk to George Norrie, call the wild card line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. From the city of Angel, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Are there people among us who aren't really people? Think about that. Next hour, Tim Schwartz joins us, and we'll talk about their latest work, Mimic, the others among us that he wrote with Sean Castillo on Coast to Coast. And we'll be back in a moment with Mark Werner and take final calls on Coast to Coast AM as well. Have you signed up yet for the wonderful thing of being a Coast Insider?
Hi, this is Jerry from Pearland, Texas. Loyal listener since 1996. I love being a Coast to Coast Insider because I can download shows to my phone and listen anywhere in Texas. From our Gulf Coast beaches to the mountains of Big Bend.
Hi, I'm Pam from Denver. I've been a Coast to Coast Insider for many, many years and love it. I get to listen whenever I want and get to tap into Art Bell's showboat. You too can get these goodies. Become a Coast to Coast Insider today.
Yeah, I'm a Coast Insider and I love the show. I can replay the show from the night before or anytime with the show archived. All of the guests are very informative and super entertaining. Sign up and become a Coast Insider today. You'll be glad you did.
You sure will. It's 15 cents a day. You can sign up one of two ways. Our website, coasttocoastam.com.
Well, I do know there are a couple. There's like a light bulb.
Or with our app, so download that. That is absolutely free.
Oh,
once you
no, that was an inspiration. Definitely, yes. Absolutely. He did what? He was like 33 years old when he figured that out.
I've been mentioning over the past several months.
Absolutely great. Totally underrated, and one of my big inspirations for this. I mean, you know, kind of all in this human show. If you really think about it, because all these cameras are watching us, even though they're off anyway, and they go to these big databases somewhere. So, I mean, the cameras are always on. I just allow myself to turn them on with my knowledge and share it with the world. But you're exactly right. Yes, in that movie, he would have had a lot more. Because he had cameras everywhere. If you remember, they had cameras in the sky and everything like that. But you know, when you see your life as much as I have, it's kind of a little bit of a fantasy. Because then you wouldn't have to turn them on and turn them off anymore. And boy, it would make YouTube a lot easier.
Off my leaf. I was feeling an underlying exhaustion that I could not shake. These are the gifts. My years have been incredible. I absolutely love these. Well, I would have
Word, I like it. We'll have like the Angry Ape Society biodome.
So before I started taking the Elevate and the Accelerate, I would typically experience some kind of anxiety or mood swings. Since taking the product, I haven't taken any over-the-counter medication or prescription. Just generally.
Are we going to have a real moon and a real sun, or is it going to be like, you know, digital? Is it going to be like a hologram?
I've not been anxious. I've not been jittery. First time I took this pill, I didn't know what to do with myself. It just felt good, clear-headed. I felt focused. There was like a drive inside of me all of a sudden. I was just excited. I was like, is this for real?
Definitely know that the Elevate not only gives you energy, not only gives you the body for my body, but it helps you with my mood. And you know what? You make my husband happy.
George's Power Pack. Order now and receive free gifts. Be Slim, refreshing weight loss tablet. Accelerate, elevate, and be slim. Order now at healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930. Don't forget promo code George for free shipping. That's 800-394-9930 or healthylooking.com.
If you want to improve your marksmanship, you need a Mantis X. The Mantis X can improve your abilities dramatically and is a must-have for every responsible gun owner, and I want to stress that, responsible gun owner. The Mantis X is a high-tech but easy-to-use system used extensively by the military that improves your aim quickly and gives you the confidence in your ability to protect what you want. And here's how it works. You attach the Mantis X to your firearm, and connects with an app on your smartphone or tablet via Bluetooth. It gives you instant feedback on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and how to correct your techniques. The Master X is a firearms instructor in your pocket. 94% of the people who do it improve within 20 minutes using Master X. The best part is you can use it at home. As people in the world do what they call dry fire practice at home, and the Master X is the best way to train at home. No driving to the range, spending money on range fees and ammo. All you have is right there. You have a ton of money. You improve your shooting, you'll save a lot. Start improving today. Get yours at MantisX.com.
I've seen this on other platforms. It's sort of really nice to do this. Hosts use the ability to be able to filter their audience to another host when they're take time. I think that's a really nice feature from other platforms, and I really look forward to it.
So I started taking the carnivora, and at this point, I don't want to ever be without it.
I developed this lymph problem. But the chemotherapy lasted for 6 months. We started developing more lymph nodes that were swelled up. So I thought I'd just try carnivora. The lymph nodes started to go down, swelling dead. Then I took them into the vet and checked out, and there was no signs at all inside. My dad had issues that developed in his eyes, so my veterinarian said, you know what, just go ahead and remove the eye. I heard the carnivore advertising, so I said, you know what, I'm going to order this product. They did all the tests. I kid you not, this product saved his eye.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORE.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie back with astrologer Mark Werner. Mark, what other projects are you working on these days?
Well, the big thing is, I've got so many projects, bunches of podcasts. This is the one I've been working on about the banking crisis again. So, one thing you were asking me about auspicious stuff. The next 24 hours is very auspicious in general. And remember there was a show from England originally, that was the week that was?
Yeah, sure do.
This year, when we look back on it, this week, with the banking thing, roiling, the world, Ukraine, all these different things that are happening, there's a lot of issues with Israel. We haven't talked about that, which is another whole subject for another time. And then next week, I'm calling the equinox week. But even next week, next Wednesday, the 22nd, Wednesday, when people look at the equinox, the birth of spring in the northern hemisphere, fall in the southern hemisphere, look at Wednesday, March 22nd, and Friday, March 24th of next week are rather auspicious for the whole 2 weeks. This week and next week, I think we'll look back and say, well, wow, there's a couple weeks in March when with the banking thing and so many other things are all tied together as part of the thing and really say, well, what do you think is happening this year? A lot of these events now are all connected together economically, socially, culturally, the war situation in Europe, America and China, trade issues. And eventually things have to, settle down a little bit, hopefully as we get into, April and May, into springtime.
Sure.
Because right now things are pretty, powerful and kind of crazy.
All right, back to the phone to go. Next birthday, April 23, 1960. We're going to David in Jacksonville, Florida, who wants to read. Welcome to the show. Hi, David.
Oh, George. Hi, Mark.
Good to have you with us. Go ahead, Mark. Do you want to read?
Yeah, that's 1 month after the last call. So I'm on the same page as what's called ephemeris that has all the planetary positions every day for like 100 years and 200 years. It's pretty amazing what we have now in our field. So the amazing thing about you is you're sometimes chorus, as you undoubtedly know, but when I was trying to bring up about Chiron because it was a rising planet that was undiscovered when the flying saucers began. That's the exact time chart of Smith Arnold. And you were born the one day of the entire year, even though you're sometimes chorus, which is connected to Venus, the planet of love, and creativity, and business and finance, which is the areas where you, it's not so much like people saying astrology, oh, you're Simon. So that means being a shaman, being a mentor. He opened doors to higher consciousness. The show, ROTHSCHILD and Twilight Zone, he was born at Chiron coming back to the United States by declaration card. He lived at Chiron side for 50 years, and then when Chiron came back, he passed away. So the thing is, studies that are fifth-dimensional stuff, ETs, UFOs, you're on the show, even though you're a sunshine course and you need to be pragmatic and down to earth, you need to sort of get into all of these holistic and alternative things which relate to Chiron, because you are literally born, any person born on April 23rd of any year, just remember, you're connected to what's called Chiron, spelled Chiron. And it was the 7077 when Star Wars came out in the Royal Revolution and then Close Encounters with Steven Spielberg. 1977 changed a lot of things. But just get into Chiron, there's a lot of stuff on our website about it, and we have a report people should get. It's called 4 Asteroids in Chiron, and you should get one of those and learn more about it.
Thanks, David. Next up, we're going to February 1940, 2840. Ron's with us in New Jersey and wants to ask a question. Hey, Ron, go ahead.
Hi, George. Hi, Mark. My simple. Just want to know about my future love life and my future love life in, my future life in general.
All right, love life and life in general for Ron.
So I want to make sure you said February 8th of 1940.
Yes, sir. Yep.
This is when my grandmother is an Aquarius who's born at this, not 1940, but on February 8th, so I remember that. And you have you're not just the sun in Aquarius, but you have the moon in Pisces, okay? So you're born right after the new moon. So one of the things I can tell you is that there are 13 new moons in the course of the year, okay? If you can become a moon watcher, you don't even have to do it astrologically, but when you see there's a new moon, of course with my astrology charts and calendars, you can get into that. That's the auspicious time, and it doesn't have to be Aquarius, Sun, or Pisces moon. Every month you have a new moon. That's when you're kind of on, okay? And when I say on, that means that good things can happen, because this is another thing. In astrology, you have like a birthday, okay, what's called solar return. Everybody's got a birthday, we've got these birthday reports, and you can learn about yourself that way. But there's this whole other thing, which is like we're all born during the phase of the moon. And people may not realize this, but there are 13 repeating phases, and that's when a lot of good things can happen, whether in love and so on. You also have Mercury in Aquarius, and your moon in Pisces is with Venus. And these are the two end signs. So what I would just say is, no astrologer, no psychic can say to a person, okay, on such and such a day, you can meet this person and fall in love. But the key thing that's going on is that you have a lot of Aquarius and Pisces, and therefore, you're very sensitive to another person. And probably that person will need to have some of the opposite signs, like Leo and Virgo, often opposites attract. So if you meet somebody and they have Leo and Virgo, you might want to connect back to my website and get something like what we call a chemistry report. But you also, any person out there, you want to have somebody who's different from yourself, which is the traditional stuff in physics, opposites attract. So Aquarius sun would attract like Leo opposite. Sometimes that's an alignment. Another alignment for Aquarius sun would be a Gemini sun person or a Libra, because you're all air signs. It's a very fine art. Okay, so it's a little bit involved with no astrologer can say, on such and such a day, you can move to love in your life and that's it. Because we all have free will. And the part of that is we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control our response to what happens to us. And that's the other part of like between destiny and fate, and the fact that we do have a certain amount of free will, particularly in how we respond to all the situations that happen. So good luck. I think there's a lot of good energy for you in order to be able to meet in a good person.
Mark, if two people have birthdays several days apart, are they going to be similar or they're different?
Well, in my own family, one of my sisters met somebody born on the same day 2 years earlier. Okay, sometimes that's what happens. In other words, it depends on your own psychology. Some people are attracted the same time because there's sort of a need to sort of develop that kind of everything, like whether it's higher teaching when you study the field of psychology. And again, everything whoever you go to, or study the lot and compare your whole chart, you see, to that person's chart. You look for strengths, you look for weaknesses, and they're basically what we call the trines and sextiles. It's a triangular relationship, or sort of putting a six-pointed star in the two charts. Those are favorable, whereas too many what we call squares or right angles or oppositions, often that represents tension between people. Doesn't mean it can't work out. So every relationship is unique.
Next up, we're going to birthday July 12, 1949. Mary Elaine in Long Beach, California, with a question. Let's to the Rockies. Hello, Mary Elaine.
Hello.
Good to have you with us. What's your question for Mark?
I'm concerned about my son born January 18th, 1977. I just would like to know what's in store for him.
Okay, so this is not for you.
No, it's on my phone.
January 18, 1977. Mark, what's up for him?
And well, listen, you say the first thing, okay, you're a sunshine cancer, and so you're psychic and sensitive, and as a mom, that is a beautiful thing, because your son being sunshine cancer means, I mean, you're the first person who when I've been on, whoever did that, you see what I mean? Now, January 18, I know so many Capricorn individuals, and a person very, very, very close to me who has been born on January 18. So the thing is, when you ask about that, the relationship you have with your son is you're the Cancer, a water sign, and he's a Capricorn. So the thing I can tell you is, you haven't said why you're concerned about him and so on. But we're going to tell you, kind of give you the main answer, and then you can follow up with me, is that everybody born on January 18 and 19, okay, January 17, 18, 19, regardless of age, you're all having Pluto cross your sun. And Pluto has, we talked about this before, George, Pluto has come back to the U.S. chart. They had never done this before. Four days before the Ukraine war started, Pluto came back to the U.S. Came back 3 times last year. It's going to come back again, and it's sitting there right now, okay? So your son there, he's been having Pluto on his sun, okay? And Pluto is the god of the underworld. And so your concern is warranted. I can't tell you what's going to happen. What I can tell you, and everybody else going around this date, January 17, 18, 19, 20, of any year, is that you have to learn to get into the mysteries of life. You have to get the person to open up psychologically and emotionally. If the person is closed to doing things, or they're keeping a lot of secrets, that's the shadow side of Pluto. And we have the same thing in the world, you see? And also, every election now since 1937, this happens on January 20th instead of March 4th, which is the old date. And this is why I studied this in mundane and earth astrology. We've had so many conflicts and so on. And now Pluto is sitting at the spot, the doorway between Capricorn and Aquarius. You definitely need to try and get in touch with me and or another astrologer, anybody, to be me, go to the website, do the reports you can order, if you know your son's exact birth time, month, day, and year, and place. And anybody else born around this time, you should also be getting into your chart, because Pluto can only be on a person's sun once in a lifetime, if not like once every couple of lifetimes, because it has a 247-year cycle.
And do a reading in about a minute or a minute and a half. Let's go to New York. We're going to March 3rd, 1954. Jody has a question. March 3rd, 1954. You've got a minute and a half, Mark. Go ahead. Hi, Jody.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. Hi, George. Thank you. Mark, I just want to ask you, I have 7 planets in water, but I have a Jupiter, it's in Gemini, and I write a lot, because Jupiter is a place, for the mind and writing, so I want to know, but all that water makes me really psychic, so I want to know if you see me succeeding with writing.
Well, okay, I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm looking at, I see everything you just said, all the times in water. So the water part of you is your vivid imagination, as you undoubtedly know, because you already know from astrology, okay? And you have a moon, probably in Aquarius, you've had your chart done, and so that is wide open to universality. The beautiful thing about Jupiter and Gemini, for any of you listening, is that's Mercury's sign. And Mercury rules writing, okay, writers and literature, and Jupiter is often considered not to be strong in that time because Mercury is in charge of it. However, planet of abundance, and you definitely want to keep doing what you're doing. Because you also have a grand trine. You have Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter's in Gemini, Neptune in Libra, and your moon in Aquarius. So you're gifted with what's called the grand triangle. Keep doing the writing, and then your Jupiter will also come back in 2 years. And that it may take you a while to get all the things going, but stay with it, and when Jupiter is in Gemini, in particular in 2 years, you come out with what you're doing, and then maybe do something more, second book, third book, and so on.
Mark, give out your website if you would.
Yeah, www.greatbearenterprises.com. A lot of complimentary stuff. As I said before, we've got 20% off on reports, 3-in-1 special reports, discounted, and my classes in the School of Planetary Studies. People can learn astrology at a very discounted price, 36 one-hour lessons, and a whole bunch of other things. And I really appreciate being on tonight, George.
All right, keep in touch like that. Be well. Mark Bruner, the astrologer who performs quite admirably when he's on our program, and for people who call him. Up next, Tim Schwartz joins us. He wrote a book with John Castillo called Mimic, The Others Among Us. Wait till you hear what this is all about. Never miss a detail on a show or a guest. Sign up for the Coast Zone email newsletter, available for free at coasttocoastam.com. I'm Radio Icon today, celebrating U2's Songs of Surrender, their new 40-song reimagined collection. U2 The Edge joins Tim Kerr to do a deep dive into the making and remaking of U2 classics on Songs of Surrender. I'm followed with the book, those 4 chapters. Well, let's do it. There are 4 U2 songs that we can reimagined. Don't miss it. Friday, St. Patrick's Day at 7 p.m. Eastern on a classic rock channel on iHeartRadio.
The podcast Let's Start It Too wonders, what if the secret cabal of the nation's most powerful people tries to overthrow the president? Explore how it almost happened to FDR in the 1930s, in this darkly comedic retelling of one of American history's weirdest scenes.
And for you, Major General Bradley Butler, nothing on every street is dead. Why? Is it something bad?
Listen to Let's Start It Too on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. More informing, more engaging, more stimulating.
My grandfather convinced me to always have it full, because I'm one of those paranoid idiots. If there's an earthquake once I get out of L.A., and I don't want to be the king-hole who stops on the side of the road, telling my wife and my dog, like, yeah, I was going to get gas. For Tim Conway Jr. show. And I went and got tacos instead. They're really good. Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Forget about civil rights. Forget about thinking people should have the same rights as the rest of us. I'm like, what do you care? What, the couple next door to you is gay? That's horrible. They're great wrestlers. Bill Handel.
No, I was intimidated because they would always look better than me.
Of course. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. I mean, the hypocrisy is stunning. Breathtaking on this. And even the most rabid anti-abortion group of people argue with a 18-year-old girl forcing her to go to church. Bill Handel, 16-year-old. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Los Angeles, Orange County, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Road closures. I'm Bree Pennis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Caltrans has closed off many off-ramps and streets due to flooding. All southbound lanes of PCH from Key Point Street to Warner Avenue and Huntington Beach are closed now due to flooding. The northbound I-5 off-ramp at Lincoln Ave in Anaheim is closed. Northbound I-5 off-ramp at Broadway in downtown is closed. And the southbound 5 off-ramp at Lake Richmond Boulevard in Sun Valley is also closed. Police have shut down northbound Beverly Drive to Coldwater Canyon until further notice. The detour is in place. City crews will start work on the sinkhole later today. Thousands of school workers in LA say they're ready for a 3-day strike starting today. 30,000 non-teaching school workers are asking for more money. If they strike, the district's 35,000 teachers say they'll walk out as well. Right now, school is in session for today. President Biden is taking action to curb gun violence as he met with survivors of a recent mass shooting in Monterey Park.
This executive order helps keep firearms out of dangerous hands. As I continue to call on Congress to require background checks for all firearm sales.
Back in January, 11 people were shot and killed in Monterey Park at a predominantly Asian American community after a Lunar New Year festival. The Orange County Board of Supervisors have now declared a local state of emergency. The county is dealing with mudslides, hillside slippage, and flooding. This declaration will release funds to help with the cleanup. Flying cars are a real thing, and you can buy one from Rabbi Aerospace in about 2 years for $195,000 with the two-seater. And Coors Light is releasing a non-alcoholic beer-flavored popsicle. It'll come in a tube like an Otter Pop, and it'll be for sale for a limited time during March Madness. Southline Medicine KFI, rain should leave us by late afternoon, highs around 60. Right now it's 57 in Laguna Beach. Huntington Beach reports 58. 54 in Temecula, and 55 degrees in Santa Clarita. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis.
In Glendora, this is on the 210 westbound right before Grand Avenue. We have a crash. Take the left lane there. Watch this flowing from Sunflower. West LA, we have good news. Earlier crash set one of the dead westbound at 405 has been cleared for lanes to drive. It's recovering in that area. And in South El Monte, this is on the 60 westbound at Santa Anita. Little fender there. That's taking up the left lane. She's all the way. Watch for the waves as you approach. KFI, the guy helps take you there faster. Up Brian's there. Oh, good times are waiting on St. Patty's Day. Yeah, and Irish pop singer to my list to tell. And now the top 5 reasons singers in Toronto. Number 5.
St. Patrick's Day freezing. Get a free plus Rainbow Keychain March 17th.
Number 4.
Rainbow Johnny Gift Giveaway. Get the Coach and Tell Bill when you earn 500 points on your reward card. The 20th to 21st.
3.
Top 10 Gift Fires. You can win up to $1,500 in free plays to play slots with your reward card. Sign in at 1 p.m.
And the number 2.
It's not luck. We work hard for you. That's why LA Times readers voted us the best casino in the Southland.
And the number 1 reason.
Eat, drink, and be Irish birthday. Discounts on draft beer and Irish whiskey at Olive Garden on St. Patty's Day.
Morocco Casino Recording Box. Morocco, good time for everybody. Jacoby and Myers is here to help you get the justice you deserve. We specialize in serious English cases and have been fighting for our clients since 1972. Trust Jacoby and Myers to be your guide, your advocate, and your support system. With our unmatched experience and expertise, you can rest assured that you'll get the compensation you deserve. Plus, our consultation is always free. Call Jacoby Myers today and let us help you navigate the legal process and get the justice you deserve. Jacoby Myers, justice for you since 1972. At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit Uline.com. Looking for your next investment opportunity? How about 100% passive ownership in commercial real estate? First National Realty Partners is backed by $1.5 billion in commercial real estate assets from Walmart, Whole Foods, Kroger, Publix, and more. Grocery store anchored commercial real estate offers day one cash flow from high credit national tenants. Tax advantages with 1031 exchanges, inflation fighting triple net lease, and more. Get information on current and upcoming opportunities today. Call 888-301-9010 or go to FNRPradio.com. Become an investor in owned and managed commercial real estate with national grocery store brand tenants producing quarterly cash flow. Call 888-301-9010 or go to FNRPradio.com. Securities are only available to verified accredited investors. Investors are subject to risk, including loss of principal. Cash distributions are not guaranteed. Any representations made about investment stability reflect FNRP's strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit FNRPradio.com. This is Jacob KFI AM 640. KFI live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640. From coast to coast and worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Now, what if you could never be sure who was really human? What if that person next to you had a secret that could change everything you thought you knew about reality? Tim Schwartz and John Castillo, along with some of the most talented paranormal researchers of our time, have presented compelling evidence that humans are not alone on this planet, but the question remains, who or what are the others? Their latest work is called Mimic, the Others Among Us. Tim is with us next on Coast to Coast. Tax season is always a crazy time, isn't it? But it can feel even more stressful if you fall victim to fake IRS calls. Scammers pretending to be IRS agents will ask for personal information, bank accounts, or for you to wire money on the spot. Be smart, just hang up. The IRS normally contacts taxpayers through the mail. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft affect our lives, and your personal information gets exposed so often, making it dangerously easy for a cyber criminal to steal your identity. Protecting your identity, though, can be easy with LifeLock by Norton. LifeLock detects and alerts you to potential identity threats that you may not spot on your own, like loans taken out in your name. If you do become a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but it's easy to help protect yourself with LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here. Join now, save up to 25% off your first year with promo code George. Call 1-800-LifeLock or head on over to LifeLock.com. Use promo code George for 25% off. Having repairs done in your apartment should never come with strings attached, like being harassed and constantly pressured for sexual favors.
My leaky faucet turned into the maintenance man asking, when are we going to get to know each other better? I needed my air conditioner fixed, but my building manager repeatedly kept coming into my apartment unannounced and without permission. My landlord told me my rent would be free if I gave him something in exchange.
Sexual harassment by anyone associated with your housing isn't just wrong, it's against the law. The Fair Housing Act protects you from harassment, including someone making unlawful sexual advances or refusing to make repairs because you deny sexual favors. If this happens to you, you can stop it by filing a complaint with her.
So I called HUD and filed a complaint against my building manager. No strings attached.
Fair Housing. The law is on your side. To learn more, visit HUD.gov/fairhousing. That's HUD.gov/fairhousing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you, Tim Sports, back with us, Indiana native and Emmy Award-winning television producer, videographer, author of a number of popular books, including Alien Artifacts, Tim Schwartz's Big Book of Extraterrestrial Encounters, The Lost Journals of Nikola Tesla, and so many more. Tim is also the co-host with Gene Steinberg on the radio show The Pedicast, and his latest book that has just come out is called Mimic, The Others Among Us, that he wrote with Sean Castile. Tim, welcome back, my friend. How have you been?
Why, thank you, George. I've been great, and as always, it's a real pleasure talking with you again.
I'm looking forward to this one. This one is a strange story, isn't it?
It really is a strange. I tell you, it's amazing once you get into it and start looking into it, how much our history has really been intertwined with whatever these things are.
How did the subject matter come to your attention?
Well, it first came to me years and years ago. George, you're probably too young to remember this, but there was a time when you could go to the drugstore and actually buy quality paperback books on paranormal subjects. They're usually about 50, 75 cents each, just perfectly affordable for a kid interested in stuff. Well, I ran into this book called Our Haunted Planet by John Keel. And in this book, he had just a little section, and it really was more of a stepping off point, talking about other subjects. But he subtitled this section called Mimics of Man. And in it, he said that what basic facts should be obvious from the foregoing. These entities and things are not necessarily from other planets. They're closely tied to the human race. He said that living among us unprotected may be creatures, not necessarily aliens, with all the outward appearances of human beings. And he called them mimics of man, and the mimics would of necessity be a lone wolf, likely living in large bustling cities where the eccentrically odd may flourish unhindered. And that just fascinated me. The idea that there could be things not human, looking like humans, but managing to live among us for whatever reason.
What are they lacking, Tim, to not be human?
Well, that really all depends on just exactly what we're dealing with. And that's what the subject of this book is. Because the mimics have gone by all kinds of different names throughout history. And they've been with us probably almost for the very beginning. We've called them things like gods, angels, demons, fairies, extraterrestrial, more modern idea for them. So, it just, it really just all depends on what these things are, and that's what we hope to try to uncover with this book.
Are they intentionally disguising themselves?
Yeah, definitely. If we are dealing with, say, like, let's just firmly put this in the material world, with maybe a creature that is either prey or predator to people, because humans at this point, we've gotten to the point where there's no other predators to us on the planet. But what if there is? What if there was a species that actually evolved right alongside us to prey on us? And
we don't mean religious prayer.
Exactly. In the natural world, you've got, say, like insects who actually will work just like their prey, so they can sit around and wait for an unsuspecting victim to go by. Now, I'm not saying that these things are, necessarily something that preys on us. They may look like us to protect themselves.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned John Keel was one who wrote about them. Any others in history that have kind of discussed this?
Well, like I said, you go and you look at, say, like a fairy lore, I think is really a good example of these things that have interacted with society. Now, when I say fairy, people just automatically go to, like the Tinkerbell type of creatures, something, little and short and coily with wings flying around. But through most of history, when it comes to people dealing with these types of things, like I said, they called them fays and leprechauns and the good people. Good people is really, an excellent name to call them. Because they have kind of lived on the outskirts of our society and interact with us when they want to, not when we want to. And they've interacted with us in all kinds of different ways, from actually either buying or stealing food from us to actually having romantic relationships with people. Yeah, well, and that's a telling point, too, because they could be related to us in some way. Because most of the time, interspecies romances just don't work.
Do they live among us? Or are they down in some cavern or something?
Well, maybe a little of both. There's the idea that they could be a race of, say, like a cousin species of humans, of hominids, and albeit a more gentle species. And at some time in our ancient past, that they decided that they're going to get the heck away from us. We're too violent. Mm-hmm. And at first, they lived on the outskirts of society, their cities and villages or what have you. We're out, in the deserts or in the mountains. But as people became more, the world became more popular with Homo sapiens, this species says, we got to get out of here and maybe move underground or, under the ocean. Or some could actually have moved in, with us and live amongst us. I mean, there are a lot of stories that we've collected in this book of people having sightings of things that appear to be human but don't act like humans.
Do these mimics know what they are?
Oh, yes. I think they definitely do. Whether or not we're dealing with, material, physical beings, paranormal, extraterrestrial, what have you, these things definitely know that they are different, and they use that difference to their advantage. I think one of the things that has allowed them to exist all this time is their ability to substitute. They are very good at disguising themselves. They're very good at staying hidden until they want to be seen.
Well, it's Tim Schwartz, co-author of the latest book, Mimics, the Others Among Us. These beings, do they lack a soul?
Oh, wow. That's really $1 million question. Do we have a soul? Right.
I fucking felt with my own eyes.
I think that they probably do. I think that whatever they are, again, whether they're physical or interdimensional or what have you, they probably have a soul just like us.
Did they come to us in craft, or were they born on this planet?
Well, that's one of the things we hope to do is to detangle the others from the whole UFO phenomenon. In modern times, the two have really become intertwined with stories of doing with the extraterrestrials, or the blue black things like that. So I think that, and George, your guess really is as good as mine. I mean, there could be a factor that are strictly extraterrestrial. I'm not going to throw that idea out, but I think that probably at least the major aspect of the phenomena of the mimics is that this is something that has been on our planet probably as long as we have.
And this, of course, book is not a non-fictional novel. I mean, a fictional novel. This is a non-fictional book, isn't it?
This is correct, yes. This is non-fiction. And we've, myself, on Castile, and then, as you said in the opening, I mean, we got some really great writers like Scott Strauss and Nigel Watson, people like that. Contributed to this book. Fascinating story. Again, directly back across time, really long before, say, like the modern UFO era. But I think that the modern UFO era has really helped bring this idea to the forefront.
You have highlighted some examples of individuals who have had encounters with these things, one being the late remote viewer Ingo Swann.
Ingo Swann, who's very well known for working with the government intelligence services with his remote viewing abilities, he was one time tasked to actually remote view the dark side of the moon, and given very specific latitude and longitude, lunar latitude and longitude. And when he actually started viewing this location, he said that he saw human-looking beings on the surface of the moon without what it appeared to like that they had any kind of protection on them. And the frightening thing to him was that they became aware that he was looking at them. So after this initial encounter, when Ingo was in Los Angeles with a friend and in a supermarket, he came across this, as he described her, extremely beautiful woman wearing, shorts and a tank top, and just absolutely stunning. And he said that as he got closer, she was looking at the avocados, very interested in the avocados. When he got closer, he was struck with a feeling of terror that just overwhelmed his senses. And he got the impression, first of all, that this woman was not human. That she looked human, looked like a very beautiful human, but she wasn't. And that if she became aware that he knew that what she was, his life would probably be in danger.
Are they working among us? I mean, do they have jobs? Do they have social security cards?
That was one of the things that the early contactee movement, starting in the 1950s, with people like George Adamski and Howard Mentor, talked quite a bit about that these beings, Space Brothers, as they called them, looked so human that they actually managed to infiltrate our society, living amongst us, working with us for whatever reason. Now, of course, the contactees, the Space Brothers were telling them that, they were there to help mankind, that we were going to destroy ourselves with atomic weapons, and that they actually were using their influence because they looked so much like us within business and politics to help steer us away towards a more peaceful society. And I think that various governments really took this to heart, that we were being infiltrated. and of course, this idea that 1950s, I mean, it fit right in with the Cold War mentality that was going on at the time. You know, I mean, not only were governments afraid that, say, the communists, you know, were hiding them everywhere. Yeah. We were so paranoid about it, too. Right. So, I mean, you know, they were worried about the Soviet Union infiltrating it. What about a superior race of extraterrestrials that could be living, you know, amongst us? That was a big worry.
What did you find in your research with the book, Tim, that was so profound, it still has you shaking your head?
Well, I think the real about all of this book is just really how pervasive this whole phenomena is. That 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 we have sharing the planet with us another intelligence, all right? That we're not alone. Not only are we not alone probably in the universe, but that we share this planet with another possibly superior intelligence that's been with us this entire time, that has been possibly manipulating society through religion, culture, other types of things. And that our history is probably just as much part of their history as well.
What does Sean feel about it?
Well, Sean, and Sean and the other authors, I mean, when I first presented this idea to them, looking for contributions, everybody was like, this is such a fantastic idea that, everybody was just so excited to go through their own notes and pull out all of these separate, encounters that for the longest time really have just been out there, just one case here, one case there. And I think we're one of the first to actually bring them all together into kind of a almost like a unified field theory of other beings, in this reality.
They walk among us. They live among us. Are they dangerous still?
They can be, yes. Yes.
Let's talk about that when we come back in a moment. Tim Short's with us. His book is called Mimic, The Others Among Us, which just came out just several days ago. And it's available on Amazon, and we're checking with Tim to see if it's in bookstores as well. But we'll be back with more on Coast to Coast AM.
Coast Insiders, the new version of the Coast to Coast AM app is now available for iPhone and now Android 4.0 and above. Listen live or on demand anywhere, anytime. Go to coasttocoastam.com and download it today.
My grandfather told me. He started life with the most time. He had animals. Why?
I'm Bruce Henderson with AFI 24-hour newsroom. President Biden spoke with survivors of the Monterey Park shooting yesterday. He proposed that a new gun ordinance which embeds background checks. Assembly Member Chris Warren proposed legislation to block atmospheric river programs to link rainfall and flood control operations. Because doing that will increase storage of rainfall and reduce the risk of flooding. The San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors is now waiving some permit fees for property owners looking to rebuild structures damaged in a record snowfall. The waiver is good for up to $5,000. The money comes from the Emergency Response Fund. And if you're looking for a new dog, the Long Beach Animal Shelter has 120 dogs looking for new homes, and they're waiving adoption fees throughout the month. Southbound weather from KFI. Rain continues heavy at times. Could leave us by late afternoon. Highs around 50. Right now it's 59 in Anaheim. San Juan Capistrano is 56. 55 for Agora and 54 in Northridge. We read local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis.
In Glendora, this is on the 210 westbound before Grand Avenue. Cleanup crews from an earlier crash. Taking up the left lane there. You guys to stop and go from Sunflower. And in South El Monte, we have good news. Earlier crash on the 60 westbound at Tech Road has been cleared from lanes. You guys is up to full speed in that area. Montana, this is on the 10 eastbound ready for Gary Avenue. We have a crash there, taking up the middle lane. You're seeing delays in that area. KFI, the guys will get you there faster up Brian Van. In this Chief Marketer's report, the PCSA letter, Global Chief Marketing Officer direct to consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the honor talent. As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
So you and I have talked about solar max technology for years now.
Yeah, listen, I did a ton of research back in the day. SolarMax was clearly the best. SolarMax is going to build a custom solar system like they did for me with the most innovative technology. All of it's under one roof, right out here in Southern California, Riverside specifically. They're going to provide you the highest quality solar panels, inverters, and battery systems in the industry, hands down.
And you know what? Now is the best time to get solar because you're going to get more electrical production in the spring.
Stay big, call SolarMax, and get a 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month. The most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you want to launch in your NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th.
That's right. Call SolarMax, start saving money by spring on their 12-panel system for $0 down, $59.99 a month.
Dial pound 250 from your cell and say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250 SolarMax, or go to SolarMaxTech.com.
Also, same available on food credit, CSLP number 972 AM5, AM640, more stimulating talk. Even a moderate amount of alcohol can be a brain change.
Stop it. What are you doing?
Cognitive decline.
I don't want to hear about cognitive decline.
7 or more units of alcohol per week
Stop it.
is associated with higher iron levels in the brain.
Well, iron's good. Not in the brain. Oh.
Jerry and Karen.
I forgot. What are we talking about?
Cognitive decline. Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI, AM 640. Full sleep like a baby, knowing you'll never miss your favorite guest or topic ever again. Remember, a 1-year subscription comes out to only 15 cents a day. Sign up today at coasttocoastam.com. Those fingers in my hair, that fly come hither, that trick my conscience there, it's witchcraft. And I've got no defense for it, the heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse me, my heart says, yes indeed, indeed. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient history, but one I wouldn't switch. Cause there's no nicer witch than you. You're listening to Coast AM with George Norrie. We'll take your calls next hour with Tim Schwartz as we talk about his latest birth mimics, the others among us, as they walk among us, whoever they may be, if they're ready to be part of the program. GoNormalDate.com. 166,000 members. We're 186 people shy of that, and we're going to hit that number really soon. Boy, people just keep signing up, and for good reason. So we have paranormalbase.com. Now, that's for everybody. Suppose you're looking for somebody a bit more mature, say 60 plus. Well, we got you covered there, too. Paranormalbase.com/seniors is just for that. People that think like you do, and they're 60 plus. So check them out, both paranormalbase.com and paranormalbase.com/seniors. At paranormalbase.com, you meet the most fantastic people. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm great to be here.
Yeah, I'm getting some of your machines.
How so?
Well, I'm into UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, and the paranormal. It's that kind of stuff. But you seem to find me in this.
Oh, well, nice to meet you, Tom. I gotta go.
Okay, guess that's not your cup of tea. You sure?
Yeah, good luck with that.
You agree with what I'm looking at.
You agree with that, Tom?
That's for my unique business. What is going to do? Have you thought about paranormalbase.com? Hello, what the what? Well, who are you? I'm a paranormal matchmaker, and it's paranormalbase.com. It's a website for people looking for people like them. Stuff you like, remember? I'll give it a try. Well, let's try this again. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hey, I'm Deb. Your profile on paranormalbase.com looks very interesting. So you really saw a UFO?
Well, yeah, it was so intense, but not as intense as me and you.
You're an alien chasing for it, but I kind of like it.
Wow, this paranormalbase.com thing really works. Maybe paranormalbase.com is for you. People with an interest in things they hear of George's show find their match daily. So if you're looking for that special someone with an interest in UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, and of course, the paranormal, come to the site inspired by George Norris. It's always free to search. And if you decide to upgrade to
Rabbi.
use promo code George for a great discount. Paranormalbase.com. You are not alone. And have you ever wondered if we are alone in the universe? Marvelous Entertainment has released the newest of science fiction that specifically deals with this question. The Marvin Sunderland, the certified film director, guest on Coast to Coast, video game developer, and author behind the series of novels that include a 7-novel masterpiece, bringing out the depths of your imagination. Simply journey with Sergeant Waggett, the star of his book, who's searching for a crashed alien spaceship that ends up finding out there's an alien invasion underway. Brace yourself as there's a war in the underworld. Fight with Sergeant Waggett, so he's trying to take our imagination to new heights. Marvelous. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series. Another series on the way with all future graphic novels by entering coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase, at marvelous.com. That's MARVALEOUS, marvelous.com.
Real people, real stories. I had acute eczema. I have tried every cream and ointment that you can imagine to treat everything. So I started taking Avora, and at this point, I don't want to ever be without it.
Our little dog felt this was the problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months. We started developing more lymph nodes that were swelled up. So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to go down, swelling dead. Then I took them into the vet to have them checked out, and there was no sign at all inside. My dad had issues that developed in his eyes, so my veterinarian said, you know what, just go ahead and remove the eye. I heard the carnivore advertising, so I said, you know what, I'm going to order this product. They did all the tests. I kid you not, this product saved his eye.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. So visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORA.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you. Tim Schwartz with us. We'll take calls with Tim next hour, so get ready for that. Tim, the book's available on Amazon. How about bookstores?
Yes, we're also making it available for your favorite local bookstore, and I always encourage everyone to
What about the theory that some of these so-called mimics could be time travel?
I love that idea, and I've talked about that on this show before, involving the UFO that were being visited by, I don't know, people from the future, you know. So one of the things about the mimics is that they have this ability to predict the future. Or maybe they don't see the future, they're not predicting it, they're just telling people what's actually going to happen. But you'll find this throughout all of these different kinds of stories, going back again to, say, like the good people who would, interact with villagers and tell their fortunes, tell their future, to modern UFO era, when you've got these Cuban-looking guys sitting out of flying saucers and telling the people that they just happened to run across, well, next year you're going to move from your house and live someplace else, or, your Uncle Ray is going to be killed in a car accident next month. So it's a possibility that whatever it is that we've been interacting with may be able to exist outside of time and space. That their natural habitat is not, reality or linear time, but somewhere outside of it.
You discussed the possibility of Bigfoot, even though Bigfoot doesn't look like us. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I included several sections in the book about Bigfoot and other types of hairy hominids, looking at the idea that the only existing hominid species on the planet. And I bring up the hobbit creatures that were discovered the bones from the island of Florida. And there was just very recently a retired anthropologist who had spent a number of years, his name was Gregory Ford.
Well,
He spent a number of years living on that island and studying the people who lived there. And this was before the discovery of the Hobbit bones. And he was told about the other people that lived on the island. And they were called, the try to pronounce the name, but it roughly translated as the grandmother who eats everything. And they said that these were like little people covered in hair that lived in the forest on the mountains. There weren't as many of them left anymore, but that they were human, but just smaller and hairier. And then, later after he moved back to the United States, here all of this came out about these definitive bones that were found on the island that could have been and I think now they're saying that it is a separate state, and that there's, still a remnant population living on this island. So, we take this idea and run with it, with mimics. So, if you have an archaic species of human, 50 million, so to speak, that could still be alive on this planet, then there's not much difference, I think, in entertaining the idea
for the longest time. They were always.
there are other
They're not either.
yeah, maybe one that a lot closer to the point that they're almost indistinguishable, except for the, probably just a minor, genetic or DNA type differences, but close enough to Homo sapiens that we could agree with them.
What is your gut check of these are?
Well,
and while you ponder it, you could have taken whether
oh yes,
he's written books on what he calls the black-eyed kids.
yes.
Black-eyed children who come to your door, they want in and all that stuff.
Is it possible that those black-eyed kids are part of these limits?
Oh, definitely. And you know, we've got Tom Castile actually wrote a chapter looking into this idea. And I mean, the black-eyed kid is really along with, say, like Slender Man and the Men in Black and UFO lore. I mean, these are perfect examples of the others. That these things that look human, act human, but aren't.
So you were contemplating what you think is going on?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that that we're not alone on the planet. That there's other. Now, what they are, kind of think that maybe they could be all of the above. I mean, you could have like a remnant human species, and I think that there could be a paranormal aspect to it as well. And you know, I'm not going to completely throw out the baby with bathwater when it comes to extraterrestrials. I mean, I think that could be a possibility too, which I think is one of the reasons that this phenomena has confounded so many researchers over the years, because everybody keeps looking for one definitive explanation, and I think that there are probably a number of explanations that they all kind of, superficially resemble each other, but that, each one that we have discussed in our book could be just as likely as the other.
Does it puzzle you that the reports of these beings are so closely related to us in terms of the way they look?
It really does. And this is something that I discussed quite a bit in this book, is that why do these things, if they are another intelligence, why do they look so human? Why do they act human? Alright? Are we anthropomorphizing?
And what do they want?
Right, exactly. Are we seeing them as human because we expect these things to be human? That possibly that they're shapeshifters and able to take on forms that are easily identifiable to us, which I think is a very good possible scenario, because I think it's highly unlikely that if we're dealing with an extraterrestrial race, that they would be so human looking. You think about evolution across the universe, what are the chances that another intelligent race from another planet would end up looking almost exactly like us? And as some UFO researchers say, have the ability to breed with us. So more than likely, we are dealing with something, for the most part, that is just as much part of this planet as we are.
Well, we don't know what they want to do with it.
I suppose.
Well, maybe they just want to live peacefully among us.
Exactly. They want to live their lives, and they do seem to enjoy manipulating people, though. But that could be very much a self-defense.
Have there ever been reports, Tim, that these creatures have physically hurt humans?
Oh, yes. Oh, sure. Well, again, going back to some of the mythologies and lore of these beings to history, say, like, you have the Japanese fox spirits, the TRUMAN, that they could assume a human appearance to the point that they would actually find a lover and have children, get married, but then at the end up destroying their chosen person's life by either just picking up everything afterwards and leaving them alone in the dust, to causing misfortune. too often about. We have Paul Dino wrote a really wonderful chapter in this book about his theory of the parasite. And he speculates, what these things are, whether or not they could possibly be other beings from the multiverse.
Parasites is not a good word, that's for sure.
No, and that is one of the aspects of the other phenomena is that they tend to be attracted to people who are having problems. And
they seem to enjoy that.
Yes. Paul speculates that these things actually feed off of negative emotion. And in order to do this, they will come into a house and create poltergeist type activities, hauntings, the appearance of what looks like strange people in your house, things like that, all in order to elicit bad emotions, which they find nourishing.
Interesting take on all of this. What about the Men in Black? That has come up too in the war.
The Men in Black, once again, this is an excellent example of the other. Now, this is really a modern phenomenon where they become associated with UFOs. And of course, the legend of the Men in Black is that, say somebody is either getting too close to investigating UFOs, too close to the truth, or even just had a rather mundane sighting, that these things will suddenly appear at your door and threaten you not to talk. Now, we have like two groups of Men in Black. One group appears to be perfectly human people, government agents, intelligence agents, that actually for whatever reason are trying to keep people away from discussing the UFO phenomenon. They have very distinguishing physical characteristics. For all times, they're described as being tall, very pale skin, with mannerisms that some people have described as being robotic or like a zombie. And we hear that one quite a bit, like a zombie. In fact, one person who had an encounter with a woman in black said that they felt like that this woman was dead. That she was not alive and was being animated
a zombie?
like a zombie, yes. But they felt like that she was being animated by something else. So it's just, and we've seen that in a number of different cases with the Men in Black. And there's not really a rhyme or reason for their appearance. There was this person who was, and his name escapes me at the moment, George, my apologies, but he was writing his thesis in a library at the University of Philadelphia when, and it was about folklore, and he was just getting to a part where he was talking about UFOs in modern folklore. When this guy suddenly appeared, he was described as being tall, dressed entirely in black, black slicked back hair, and with very pale skin to the point where it didn't look like this guy had ever been out in the sun. And this person came and he said that he sat down in the chair next to him and asked what he was working on. And he just, he told this guy what it was, and he said, well, what do you think about flying saucers? He goes, well, it's just a small part of my thesis, but I haven't really thought that much about it. And this guy just got up from his chair, and he said he got up, looking, and it looked like that he was a marionette on a string when he got up from the chair. And he screamed at him and said, flying saucers are the most important thing in history.
Really upset, huh?
Very upset. And then the odd thing about it was, after this guy left, the person who was writing the thesis realized that he was all alone in this library. And there's nobody else around. He went to the front desk, nobody there. He said he got freaked out. He was overcome with terror, so he sat back down in his chair to try to collect himself, and he said in about 15 minutes, all of a sudden, the library was alive with people again. It was almost, he said, like he had been taken to another place that was empty of everybody else except for him and this strange...
Let's talk more about the beans, Tim, when we come back in a moment here on Coast to Coast AM. Plus, we'll take phone calls with you next hour. Tim Schwartz with us. His websites are linked up at coasttocoastam.com. The book is called Minutes, the Others and More.
Find out more about today's guest. Log on to coasttocoastam.com.
Please let us serve our time in federal prison. And the judge said, no, thank you. You will serve in state prison. None of those queers suffer from constipation ever again. Oh, yeah. What? They'll handle. Is it the food? It's the food. Yeah, it's the food. Yeah, it's the food. Yeah. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KMY. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. On IC's Daily Game podcast, the cultural icon unveils words of wisdom and motivational quotes he's collected over the years. No punches are pulled, as Ice shares his special brand of profound and brutal honesty on topics like romance, success, failure, and more. You can't sit back and say, I'm going to win this game and not go to practice. You still got to play that game. Faith and your mind is just not going to make it happen. Listen to IC's Daily Game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Life changes probably the point of that to be there. You know what happens some days when they cut in for breaking news? People come knocking the club up. The neighbor, he goes, I gotta go Ultradon. Dunnington. I don't think I've ever said that. I gotta go Ultradon. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio icons with the Edge, celebrating U2's Songs of Surrender, their new 40-song reimagined collection. YouTube The Edge joins Jim Kerr to do a deep dive into the making and remaking of YouTube classics on Songs of Surrender. Follows what's going on in the book. There was 4 who got the well, let's see if there are 4 of these 2 songs that you can reunite. So don't miss it. Friday, St. Patrick's Day at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Classic Rock Channel on iHeartRadio. You angry today? I'm perpetually in I'm not supposed to be on this planet. That's a terrible mistake. But 5 years old, I didn't mean it. I know I'm the victim of some massive practical joke, and I'm just waiting for the payoff. Dunnington for waiting for me to blow. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI, AM 640. You can find us on your smart speaker or on your dumb speaker if you plug it into something smart. I'm not plugging it into you. Hey, smart speaker, there. Play KFI AM 640. KFI KOST, Los Angeles, Orange County. You are halfway to the weekend already. Here's Jennifer Jones-Lee with your Wednesday morning wake-up call. Word to describe this morning's fever. Sucky. Is it? Unnecessary.
Got it, baby.
I'm never
Bro, seriously, bro. Trillionaire, bro. I want to do it for the win. Yogi, take some bucket.
No.
It's,
I mean, it's
Yogi.
right in there.
So from my house, it took an hour and 20 minutes to get here this morning. It was about, it took me about 30 minutes more than normal. My favorite, though, was this rigmarole on the 210 westbound in Glendora. Well, I was getting off, I was surface streeting, might have been going a little fast, and ended up messing with Glendora PD. It was one of those mornings. Thank you if you're driving a Glendora PD SUV this morning for not pulling me. So it's one of those days. We've got crazy weather that's going to keep staying with us throughout the rest of the morning. I mean, I'm not going to complain, though. I'm not somebody who lost power across California, and there are 300,000 people who did. Strong winds made some people actually have to shelter in place in San Francisco. President Biden promoted his new executive order on gun control at a Boys and Girls Club, and we're going to talk with ABC's Louis Martinez this morning all about that Russian fighter jet that collided with a large U.S. surveillance drone over the Black Sea. What was this exactly? Is this considered a serious incident? And are we going to see some sort of diplomatic protest over the whole thing? We've got a lot to get into with Louis in just a few minutes. So let's start with this storm coverage. We had 300,000 people across California who have lost power as the state's 11th atmospheric river storm dropped more rain and snow. More than a dozen areas along the Salinas, Sacramento, and Merced rivers overflowed yesterday. The National Weather Service says at least 90 flood watches, warnings, and advisories were in effect across the state. Now, the storm has caused some trees to topple over. There's a big one in Culver City. We've got another big one reported in Sherman Oaks. In San Francisco, you had strong winds forced some people to shelter in place. Officials told people inside that Bank of America building, wait a minute, stay safe. They had 80-mile-an-hour winds in San Francisco. San Francisco Fire Lieutenant Jonathan Baxter said the winds were so strong, a window on a 42nd story building, or on a 42nd story, shattered.
One window did break out of its frame and did fall to the ground, and another one was cracked. This is something that is unusual, but we're also experiencing highly unusual weather.
Forecasters had issued a high wind warning until late last night. PG&E crews responded to more than 155,000 power outages in the Bay Area. The supervisors in San Bernardino County have voted to waive up to $5,000 in review and permit fees for property owners who need to fix or rebuild because of damage caused by the snow. County inspectors have red tagged 29 homes and other buildings as too damaged to be inhabited, and yellow tagged 27 that allows for limited occupancy. The numbers are expected to grow as assessments continue. The permit waiver is available for each building and will be paid for by $500,000 of a $10 million emergency response fund that the board created on March 1st. Well, President Biden has promoted his new executive order on gun control at a Boys and Girls Club in Monterey Park.
The president gave an emotional testimony about some of the lives lost in that dance hall shooting in January, where 11 people were killed. Then he segued yesterday into the lack of action on the part of Congress to pass stricter gun laws.
Enough. Do something. And remember in one day, I'm here with you today to act.
The new order also puts pressure on states to ramp up red flag laws. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association says the new order would have done nothing to prevent the recent mass shootings in California and around the country. Maybe Gregory can define it.
In just a moment, I'll have the story of a retired Orange County Sheriff Sergeant who trains schools around the country on how to stop mass shootings, and he says gun laws are not the only thing that are going to fix the problem. So we'll get into that. Also talk with ABC's Louis Martinez in just a moment about that tea. But Nick Caliopini, anybody who's out there this morning is going to be, I'm literally hanging on your every word. Good morning.
Good morning, Gabriel. Let's do this. Checking out the drive sunny at any Inland Empire. That's going to be your area spot at the moment. 15 southbound is coming out of this area from before Main Street. It'll be still going for you as you make way all the way through the Ranch Cucamonga and Altaloma area, continuing beyond the 210 this morning as you make way toward the 10 is going to be a busy one for you there. And that's in something slowing down the drive. Time to just yourself on keyboard. It's by traffic left on side out the 60. Before Grove is crashed and has the two right lanes straight away. That'll be a busy drive for you as you come right from, looks like at least a 15, and actually gave word that it's the carpool and the two right lanes that are shut down. Looks like it's especially heavy for you there. 10
much results in the situation not looking all that much better for you as you come away from the secret. It's going to be heavy going from the all the way through these things, you go down and much down along with that as you make your way towards the 605. Now you want to watch the reception grow it out because you want to do this well from Lafayette and heavy stretches all the way towards the 55. Okay, if I'm a child, I'll give you a doctor. I'm the polio chief. 506 on your wake-up call. ABC Blue Martinez, welcome back to Wake Up Call. And let's talk about this Russian warplane that hit an American drone over the Black Sea. I just happened to glance down at my phone yesterday and I saw this, breaking news alert come across and I went, oh no.
Hopefully it was news alert then. Yeah, I mean, very significant action. The pilot concerned about it, calling the Russian ambassador yesterday to the department. Essentially told him, that we got concerned about this and sent the message to Russia, don't do this. And he was taking very seriously here from Pentagon. We've got a video that is going to be declassified today that will show the path of this Russian fighter jet getting close to the drone. What was doing was attempting to spray fuel on the drone. I don't know why that's the case, but apparently this is a harassment technique that the Russians have employed in the past. But they did 19 passes in front of this unmanned drone that was about 75 miles off the coast of Crimea. And then on the last 3 or 4, he's going to try to spray the jet fuel. On that last pass, this pilot essentially clipped the rear propeller of the drone, disabling it and forcing it to crash into the Black Sea. There's probably going to be some kind of options being looked at for recovery. But John Kirby, the chairman of Chief Task Force, said this morning that while they're working through options, it's going to be challenging and it's highly possible that the United States may not be able to recover it. At the same time, they're confident that if the Russians do, that they're going to lose minimal value from the intelligence equipment or the intelligence support.
It reminds me of when you said that it just sort of clipped the back wing of that drone or whatever. It reminds me of a pit maneuver when you watch, the highway patrol try and take down some driver who's, chasing or they're being chased or that kind of thing. And so that seems intentional. For these reports to be coming out that it was anything other than that seems highly improbable.
Yeah, and you're officially saying that this is likely unintentional, that this is more of an accidental action by the Russian pilots. Are calling it actually just flat out dumb. It's what one official told me. You heard reckless behavior. John Kirby saying, again, it's just incompetent action by a Russian pilot, and it's probably limited just to that pilot. But remember, there were 2 fighter jets that were carrying out these actions, this harassment action against the drone. And to be honest, the Russians knew what it was because the drone had its grandfather activated. So that meant that radar could out there, so an optic out there, they knew what it was. And they flying in international airspace, 75 miles allocated way beyond the 12-mile territorial limit for airspace and for water. The Russian ambassador told reporters last night there that there seems to be a difference in opinion as to what constitutes territorial limits since the Russian troops have moved into Ukraine. But I don't think the U.S. is following it.
Okay, when it comes to, I guess from a diplomatic standpoint, is it beneficial to say, all right, you guys just did something dumb, as the case may be, and one of your pilots was harassing ours, don't do that again, or is it more important to stand up and say, hey, you guys came after us and now we retaliate?
Well, I think what they're doing is they're trying diplomacy here, but they're also using tough talk. Tough talk that this is reckless actions, this is something that shouldn't have even happened in the first place, and they're calling out the Russians for this kind of behavior. I mean, this happens all the time, Jen. The Russians come out as either American manned aircraft or unmanned aircraft over the Black Sea or the Baltic, and what they try to do is harass the aircraft. Yes, the United States does do that with the Russian aircraft that close to Alaska, but you don't see the kind of actions that you saw in this incident, right? And so it's one of those situations where there are rules of the road when something like this happens, and this one obviously violated those rules, and so that's what the United States is calling out. And I think nobody wants to see this escalate any further, particularly let's think about what could have happened if this had just not been a clip of the propeller, but it could have been a head-on collision, which could have been very likely as the fighter pulled up. And then what would happen to our pilot, and then we'd be talking about a totally different scenario.
All right. Thank you so much, Louis. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, ABC Louis Martinez. And that's when I said that I saw the alert and I went, oh, and that's exactly what I thought. Oh, how does this get parsed between the United States media and Russian media? And what is Putin going to tell his people? Well, sure, it's going to be victorious, and we took this down, and they were in our airspace, and that kind of a thing. And how do we gently have tough talk without sounding like we're not going to take action about how you're going to get on somebody, I guess, or punish them without crossing a line into a full-blown nuclear, know the inner workings of just, how serious this type of event is, or what this constitutes behind the scenes as far as action goes. But I'm kind of interested to see, just because, you've got to think about the heightened alert on which the world is with Russia right now. So any little misstep by the Russians is going to be seen as necessarily provocation, but that's just going to ramp up just a little bit the tension, as though it couldn't get any higher. U.S. County Board of Supervisors has banned TikTok for government employees on the job. The board approved a proposal last night to ban the popular social media app to ensure the safety and security of country data. The ban applies to county data. The ban applies to county-owned equipment. Critics of TikTok say they're concerned how much access the company based in China has to users' information and data. A woman accused of leaving her newborn baby in a trash can at a gas station in Fullerton has been charged with attempted murder, child abuse, and child endangerment. The baby was an hour old when it was found last week and taken to the hospital. Benita Maldonado was arrested the next day. Police say there are safe surrender baby laws in California. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk tech with KFI's tech reporter, Rich Jamero, this morning. So we've got a new email getting a fresh injection of AI this morning. Also, Rich gets to do the coolest thing. He got to drive a Lucid Air, and you can see the test drive on his Instagram if you want to go check it out before we talk to him, at Rich on Tech. And also, as always, you can hear him every Saturday, 11 to 2 here on KFI. But it'll take peek at his Instagram before we even get to talk to him about that drive on Lucid Air. Man, hey, Kelly O'Keefe, I wish I had anything in the air right now, because being on the road is miserable.
Boy, that is the truth, Jen, and it is going to be a mess for folks that are making their way out of the Moreno Valley area through Riverside, northbound side of the 215 for well before the merge of the 60. You're going to see the way south, Sandra, past the merge of the 50 to make your way past UCR toward the Riverside interchange. It does look like you got an issue involving a couple of big rigs on the 215 north at the Riverside interchange, right lane, taking like really slow going for you there. What's on 60 now looking at you better for your driver, generally from well before Pigeon Pass, almost as far back as Peacock, so the 215 merge. Well before all of down through the Badlands out of Beaumont, leaving the split with the 10, 60 westbound, and still going for you all the way into and through the Brookville and Springs area. Heading westbound on 60, looks like you do have 3-car smack it that hopefully didn't clear from the freeway, but definitely going to be a rough go for you there. Can't find the channel super faster. I'm calling it. Attention Southern California, ViralRabbi is ready to install your solar now and complete your paperwork in time for NEM2. They have teams working around the clock 7 days a week and have processed over 35,000 applications and counting, more than any solar company in California. No one worked harder than Temper does with this free decor and honor. Go solar American style. Declare your independence with Temper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor who gets the job done right. Imagine no money out of pocket, no payments until 2024. Call 877-211-5591. Worried about blackouts? Tesla and Enphase batteries are in stock. Plus, Temper offers new furnace and AC systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. So get your solar system installed by Temper Solaris before net metering changes and rates go up even more. For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit TemperSolaris.com.
This report is sponsored by MGM Rewards. Having the time of your life is more rewarding than ever when you visit any MGM Rewards destination nationwide. Dine, stay, play, and earn on all of it. Details at MGMRewards.com. Subject to earning and redemption limitations applicable to certain purchases in certain states.
This is Michael Jr. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
The Lakers got 35 points and 17 rebounds from Anthony Davis in their going to open the Pelicans. They're right back at it tonight against the Rockets. Maybe you will sit for rest. The Chargers, that feels to look different next season. They traded running back Austin Echo for Michigan to the trade. And UCLA men's basketball will start its March Madness run tomorrow. The BC Bruins will battle 15 seed UNC Asheville in the first round.
Here's my new podcast, Dojo, tackling sports, pop culture, and whatever else you can think of. Download and listen to the newest episodes from my show, Dojo, the podcast with DraftKings, releasing daily, Monday through Friday, wherever you get your podcast. Over the years, I've compiled thousands of inspiring and thought-provoking quotes, and now, for example, that knowledge on to you in my new daily podcast. I I'll break down why these words matter and reveal personal stories that show them in action and body like this. Listen to every week on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Live from the Hayes bedroom, it's another eventful night where the curious Ron Steve has been struggling with his feet. His wife Michelle is trying to save the rain. Michelle throws an elbow. He's leaning for the couch. You should get inspired. Absolutely, Bruce. Inspires a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. With no mask and no host. John. Learn more at InspiredSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspiredSleep.com.
Bring into super prices and a super selection at the Norm Reed Superstore. Pick great brands, Honda, Ford, Lincoln, Hyundai, Genesis, and Volkswagen at 9 convenient locations. From the Cerritos Auto Square to the Irvine Auto Center, from West Arena to Huntington Beach, we have all your favorite models in stock. Plus, there's total peace of mind when you purchase. Thanks to our exclusive price protection guarantee. Rich Face. You can find the same new vehicle for less than $5. Your reason will pay the difference or buy your vehicle back. There is simply no reason to shop anywhere else. Don't miss your chance at a fresh start this spring and get behind the wheel of your favorite new ride. Test drive today at a Norm Reed Superstore location, like the number 100 store in the world, in the Cerritos Auto Square. Or shop online at normreed.com. After Global 100, you can sales 2020. Losing your air conditioning on a hot summer day can do it. What a nightmare. But no one wants that, Seth. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation. Well, it's critical adjustment so you'll stay cool, use less energy, and increase the life of your system. We'll clean your outdoor clothes the right way, not to be so rejuvenation. Just $429. Scale air conditioning and plumbing. You use CPL.com. This is cool, but it's already set. Right, number 1047, 781. The bills are coming, and they don't stop. Medical bills, dental bills, car repairs, renters due. Plenty of people move and just don't have. And the nonprofit JFLA has been helping people overcome financial challenges since 1904. We provide zero interest, no fee loans so that emergencies don't mean financial ruin. Support our efforts and learn more at jfla.org. You need to learn yourself? We're here for you at jfla.org. All the radio stations you love, every playlist and afternoon, the podcasts that everyone's talking about, if it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. iHeartRadio! Well, the government really is fun this year. You know, we put in the call to ask for resources, and they're very, and gobbled it up. Well, you know, we have to make sure everything is in order and arranged and lined up, and we have to go now. John is there. People need help now. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on Data Live and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It is a soggy Wednesday morning. I'm Jennifer Jones. Lead some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Governor Newsom has extended California's storm state of emergency to 3 more counties. One of them is Orange County. That's where supervisors yesterday also declared a state of emergency. Orange County Supervisor Katrina Foley says some homes are in danger of sliding down a hillside in Newport Beach. She said one half a family that includes elderly people in the house, they had to be removed because that house was red tagged. Foley says if the 3 homes fall, a cascading effect could happen to the 50 of homes that are on that bluff, and they must be prepared in case that happens. It's like this horrible visual of, like almost like a movie, like domino effect in it. And so that's definitely a concern. 5:35, we're going to talk with CNBC's Jane Wells this morning. We've got to talk more about what's going on with the two banks that failed. Also, what might the Fed do, or in this case, what might the Fed not do because of those two bank failures. So we'll get into that with Jane in just a few minutes. But good morning to KFI Tech reporter Rich Romero. You can listen to him, Rich on Tech Saturdays from 11 to 2 here on KFI. Follow him on social media at Rich on Tech, his website, richontech.tv, and of course, Tech Month in CLA. Rich, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Jennifer.
All right, so let's start with now our email getting this fresh injection of AI. How so?
We have heard so much about AI working its way into pretty much every product we can imagine. It's kind of like when everything started getting connected to the internet. Now we're seeing everything get AI. And Google is kind of in the sleeper here because Bing has really taken a lead. So it's ChatGPT and all these other companies. But Google has kind of been staying back and waiting a little bit. But not anymore. Gmail and Google Docs getting a fresh infusion of AI. So now we've seen the autocomplete in Gmail. That's nothing compared to what we'll be able to do very soon. You can say things like, write me an email for my, a welcome letter to a new employee. And it will just, boom. It will write the whole thing for you, and then you can change it, modify it. Basically, this is giving folks a way to make a first draft of pretty much anything in Gmail or in Google Docs that is rolling out this month to more and more users. So be on the lookout for it.
I like this only because it seems like a time saver.
It is a time saver, but the reality is, Jennifer, we will never have to write a first draft in the future. That's just the bottom line. You need to sell a car, you need to write a contract, you need to do anything you need to do. Write a letter to work, it will always have a first draft for you that is written by AI. You can go in there and speak the details and make everything feel like this.
All right, I do kind of like that. But I'm always looking for shortcuts because I try and cram way too much stuff into a day. And so I guess that's why I like it. But from the actual, all right, I should sit down and do the work myself, standpoint, I guess if I was a parent, I would be cringing right now.
Exactly. I think that's really look, it has so many implications in so many ways, but you have to think back, there was a time when we used to remember phone numbers in our head or in an address book, and that's just not the case anymore. We used to remember facts. That's not the case. We used to know how to do math. That's not the case. We rely on these systems for everything now because they're an extension of our brain.
I don't know who I was having this conversation with, or why, I should say, why it came up. But for whatever reason, I remember my 6th grade boyfriend's phone number to this day.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's the best part. It was over the summer. And so a friend of mine was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if his parents still live there. We called him his parents. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing, but I'm like, you remember me from elementary school? It was funny. It was very funny.
I was trying to remember my phone number from when I was a kid, and I still remember it. I can still remember it very clearly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know mine's out, but I remember it was 5473651. I know that's not it anymore, but the people who live in that house don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's crazy now. And if somebody asks me, what's Tyler's phone number or what's your phone number, I don't know what area code you guys are in, to be perfectly honest.
I tell my kids, just remember at least one or two phone numbers, just commit those to memory because if you're ever in an emergency, you need to call mom or dad. But that's it. Other than that, you really don't need much more.
You're right.
Number 2.
Okay, how about this? Stadiums that are keeping track of your face. Sometimes people love the idea of your face being your ticket. Other people say, what could go wrong?
Yeah, and I think that's the reality of this story from Slate. They kind of took a look at all the different stadiums nationwide that are using facial recognition. They're counted as 20. Remember the story with the woman in New York City that was trying to attend the kids' event for a kid, and she was banned?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is happening across the nation. Conga Arena in San Diego, they have facial recognition for entry, scanning, and payment. BMO Stadium near USC, the soccer stadium, they use facial recognition for basically their teams and people working there for entering the training facilities. And then the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, I don't know if you remember this one, but they used facial recognition to catch that Taylor Swift stalker back in the day.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so, all of these stadiums are starting to use this stuff. It's just something to be aware out of the stadium. So if you're fan, you try to walk in, they're like, no, come over here, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. You were on the do not attend list or whatever, kind of a do not fly list.
I would do a lot to get on that list.
Have you ever gone to a concert with me?
No,
you don't have to do that much.
You may be overly enthusiastic, but you're not like,
I'm not wild. I've never been kicked out of a concert, all right. Okay, how was this ride, this Lucid Air?
Incredible. So Lucid is a new luxurious car company. They've been around for a bit, but I test drove the Lucid Air Touring Edition, and this is kind of an EV, well, it is an EV, but the deal is that it's more luxurious, more fuel efficient, I should say energy efficient, and it goes further than most other EVs. So this EV has a range of 425 miles, which is pretty good. There's 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, 620 horsepower, but it's $107,000, Jennifer.
Yeah, that would keep me from that luxury. No matter how much I wanted it.
This is a very expensive car. So what they're trying to do, they're not trying to get folks from Tesla. They're trying to get folks from BMW, Mercedes, of course, all these other companies that make luxurious gas vehicles. They're trying to say, look, you can come over to an EV, get that same level of luxury, and not give anything up, but you're also helping the planet. Of course, they have cheaper cars in the future, but it's going to take a long time. And they also have an SUV coming out. But you got to watch the video on my Instagram, at which I'm back to 0 to 60 at 3.4 seconds, Jennifer. I don't know if you've ever done that.
No.
Whew, it was wild.
When it comes to those helping the planet things, I want to know how many, I don't know if it's going to be celebrities or just billionaires, whatever, how many of them will want to buy one of these just so they can tout that, oh yes, I bought one. And then also they'll have some, gas guzzler on the side.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, here's the reality. I think that this is a good thing, and if you can get people from a Mercedes or a BMW that's going to get a luxury like an X-Class kind of car, and you can say, look, this is a really nice car. It does great things for the environment. You live in California. It's very easy to charge these things. You're going to spend the same amount of money. Why not get something new? The other thing I thought was kind of ironic, Jennifer. The biggest investor in this company. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Oil, Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Okay.
50% of this company. So I said, can I ask them, how are you going to be around for the next 5 years? And they said, well, our biggest investor is the Saudi Arabia public investment fund. I said, what? Don't you see the irony? Is right. This electric car company is the biggest investor, is the biggest oil, area in the world. And they said, well, even they need to diversify.
They need to diversify, but also then you wonder what's in it for them in the sense of, all right, why does this make them look good? Will it help some quota that Saudi Arabia needs to show that it's being environmentally conscious? Oh, I don't know. Oh, now my reporter hat is on, Rick.
Right? I know it threw me for a loop, but at the end of the day, it's a California company. The cars are made in Arizona. The cars are very nice. It's one of these things that's an uphill battle because every other luxury car company, the traditional ones, are also making now luxury EVs. So I want to see them succeed, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, thank you as always. Rich on Tech is where you can find that video of him. That's his Instagram, on social media, everywhere on social media. Always you can watch him on KTLA, but the best place to listen to him is 11 to 2 Saturdays right here on JFI. Thank you, Rich.
All right, Jennifer, thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with CNBC's Wayne Wells. Of course, talk about the two banks that collapsed this week, what the Fed may or may not do because of that. Also, it's my favorite story that she sent me last night. Big Cat hiding from his lawyers, which I must say made me giggle because I think Shaquille O'Neal is like the one person in the world who really would have difficulty hiding, period. Like, nobody is going to go, oh, that guy sitting over there with the hat and the glasses on behind that newspaper. No, that doesn't look like Shaquille O'Neal at all. Come on now. We'll get into that with her in just a few minutes. Nick Palliotine, we're going back into that drive. It's going to be rainy all morning. Should taper off, but right now this heavy rain is coming right through SoCal.
Right, the Metro folks that are making it through Southway right now, southbound side of the 110 as makes the transition to the 105 west. It's the carpooling transition was at 3 steps and now it's already making that transition. Emergency crews are on the scene, we'll let you through, so there's a lot of flooding in the area, so it's a mess there. Southbound
On the 110, they put the 105. Also gotten 8 calls so far about flooding down along the 78 as you make it towards Port Carlsbad and Oceanside, right around El Camino Real. Some serious flooding for the drive heading westbound along the 78. That's the east and westbound right now. And it's a necessary drive. And also taking that you're driving the 15 southbound as you're coming out of the Murrieta area. Still going overall from Los Alamos Road, leaving those delays 215 southbound on the 15 south, all the way to Escondido as you make your way towards the 78. KFI and the side helps get to their faster. I'm Antonio Steve.
Hi, Dan from Toyota speaking.
Dan, I heard you just about to buy Toyota.
Sure is. From now until April 4th, you can shop all your favorites like Corolla, RAV4, Sequoia, and more.
Awesome. I've been eyeing that new Tundra.
Well, imagine yourself in a new Tundra, conquering the open off-road where mud and rocks have got nothing on you.
Woo!
Or maybe you can take your boat out for some water skiing lessons.
Now we're talking.
Or maybe you can stop at the home and surf into it. You can change your best reaction, promising your daughter all winter long.
Sarah? When did you hop on the call?
Hi, Dad. Mom said you were taking too long on the phone. Also, hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Get your imagination rolling with a new Toyota, like Highland, Tacoma, Little Rock, and more. Stop by a participating Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. You can read the coordinate there. A light source system gives you filtered, delicious water, free bath in the house. It filters out the chlorine, contaminants, while retaining healthy minerals, and there's no filters that can be ever maintenance free. You come first in. That's a pure antibacterial filter. That's worth $825. This ends March 31st. Call 800-803-2696. Visit lightsourcewater.com. Light Water, taste and feel the difference. For over 35 years, we at Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, has built our firm with the words more in mind. We have more than 200 lawyers and more offices nationwide ready to fight for you. And today we have recovered more than $15 billion for our clients. So, if you think injury at work or a car accident, you deserve more. Contact Morgan & Morgan today. Just dial #law or visit quarterpeople.com for all the news. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. Because of your first year, they automatically double all the cashback you've earned. That's right, everything you earn doubles. The cashback from credit card funds all double. Seriously, though, keep country checking out for yourself at discover.com/credit. Visit UKCS.org or call 833-422-4255. Ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health. Giant heat transmission fluid.
Seriously? Yours is just a break.
We all know how it is if you go to the wrong place for car repair. I can't believe it. That engine light is limited. So don't risk it. Take your car to the experts at AMCO. AA, MCO. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free. Restrictions will exclusions may apply. This is Jacob and Ronnie. If you've been involved in a motorcycle accident, call 844-24-JACOB. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, podcasts, and video. AM recording. The news. What it means. Why it
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're going to talk with CNBC's Wayne Wells in just a second. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. This is your very wet wake-up call for this crazy Wednesday morning. Some of the stories we'll watch will include the governor expanding California's storm state of emergency to 3 more counties. That includes Orange County now. One thing also, supervisors in San Bernardino County voted to waive up to $5,000 in review and permit fees for everybody who needed to fix or rebuild because of the damage that was caused by the snow. And also, if you don't have flooding in your area right now, which I think is highly unlikely because I felt like everywhere I drove through this morning had flooded out areas in it, but the storm has caused some trees to topple over A large one down in Culver City. There's another one that was reported in Truman. And this rain is expected to stay with us through the morning and probably be heaviest right now during the morning commute. So listen up for Natalia Opinion. He's got lots of updates for you throughout the morning. And if there are any more weather advisories to let you in on, I will bring them to you. So right now it's CNBC's Jane Wells. Follow her on social media at Jane Wells. Good morning, Jane. How did it go with when you were filming in for John and Ken last week? I'm sorry I was sick.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had a blast as I always do. And it was great to come there and see everybody in person. I'm telling you, this rain, between the rain and California bank failures and everything else,
I think so, for all that we have done over the lifetime of this world. All right, so let's start with actually looking at the futures this morning. So right now the Dow futures are down 564. What's going on now this morning?
Well, we've got some, and then we've got some interesting breaking news on top of that. So the market had a great day yesterday because it looked like these regional banks, everything was going to be okay, and the government's backing everything up. But then this morning, a investment bank Credit Suisse, it's tanking, it has problems, it may not get enough funding at the remaining going system right now, Credit Suisse. And so that's the immediately through the financial sector in the Dow. Yeah, as you said, the futures are down over 500 points. But we just got some interesting news on inflation, which one reason why Silicon Valley Bank and some of these regional banks had problems, like Signature, maybe because rates were going up so fast and so high, because the Fed is trying to stop inflation, that it made them have difficulty financially. Wholesale prices in February, and retail sales fell in February. So consumers are starting to pull back maybe a little bit, and this is exactly what the Fed wanted. So this maybe will bring down prices, bring down inflation if people stop shopping as much, and that increases the probability that next week when the Fed meets, it will raise rates 0.25%, or maybe not at all. And the market will like that if that happens.
Okay, so this could be then sort of a perfect storm in addition to then those two reports that you're talking about. Also, though, then the fall of those two banks and everybody getting nervous and everything. So that could then result in possibly nothing happening.
That is true because, Jay Powell, the chairman of the Fed, wanted more than anything to bring inflation down. It's supposed to be 2%. It's now down to 6%, which is still high, but it is slowing and coming down. And, the fear was that the Fed was going to break some things in its effort to raise rates so high so fast. And nobody thought, I think, that the thing that we're going to break was some banks, but that's what happens. And so the Fed now has to, and these other things it has to consider, like if it keeps raising rates to bring down inflation, it's going to create more problems and lack of confidence in banking, and it's going to have to provide more money for the banking sector to stay afloat. Of course, the FDIC is going to have to protect everybody's deposits, no matter what they are, at least if these two big Signature Silicon Valley Bank. So if they have to walk a tightrope right now, and the thinking on Wall Street now is maybe it's going to be a quarter point or nothing at all. And just a week ago, Powell was telling Congress, I'm probably going to raise it a half a point. That's before all this happened.
And that goes to the flexibility. I think that a lot of us look at this and we think that is a foregone conclusion, maybe what number they are going to increase or raise the rate to, but maybe not so much. Maybe this is proof that...
What up, Tim? How's the room doing?
With the way that reports come out and things.
Right, and there's probably going to be some change.
We've been up all night here on the Rabbi ROTHSCHILD late night show. We handed it off to Logan and crew.
So that they were in a stronger position if a lot of people wanted to withdraw their money. But regional banks, small to mid-sized banks, managed to wiggle out of some of those.
I predicted you two will get together, so you should just know that.
You have to live forever, why not? To be subjected to these really strict rules. And banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature were under that. And they weren't subject to the rules. And what happened is they got them in a lot of, got themselves in trouble. I mean, the bottom line is that this application,
I did, because you at one time retweeted the document that I had. And that was just some list of it. I am dominating this subject. So I did not really appreciate it because it is pretty much the most unuser-friendly thing that if you actually type it in, and if you know what the fuck I'm talking about, Discord is like, I don't know, I just got it's complicated for so basically, I have gotten a lot of traction by what I think is
All right, before I let you go, you gotta explain to me. He's probably one of the most recognizable men in the world. So to think that Shaquille O'Neal is hiding anywhere, it makes me giggle.
Post up in the top room with his avatar.
Out of his house, but he's third, and a lawsuit filed by a guy who claims he put money into
basically, it just has my whole story. So here's what it is.
and lost it
It's all
because
in one
endorsements like
Rabbi
that. And this guy wants to have a class action lawsuit. He said, there's Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen there. They did get hurt. If they tried repeatedly, no one reached their
number one research, more data, and anyone ever. Hashtag ViralRabbi is life and filthy by life. Real life is plug into that global history. Real life is brother. Watch live 24/7, 365 days, day or night, and use the free share to be a trillionaire and help bring world peace. So it's rather long, but it all fits actually on an avatar, and when you click it blows up and you can read it. So I got this thing posted out in like the front of the one right now, a lot of chat Fortnite, and then also, if you know what Nature is, like
where you can follow her on social media. And I definitely won't talk to you for a few weeks. Have a wonderful trip, travel safely.
I'm at the very top of it, and I felt like a period before my name, so I'm way at the top. And basically, all these people click on this room because they want to know what's going on here. And what do you know? Normally, I'm serious about this. I'll have a 24-hour coming in and 1% water, and that's like an average. And it's an average because you think why? Because it's really hard to get
Americans have lost.
You know, addicted to one person, they have other people who are addicted to
I know, I'm like you, and I want to think that we're all family and we don't fall for this stuff.
And time for the world. Well, now that I've done
just like everybody else around the world.
I mean,
So we'll get into that within just a few minutes.
Hours.
So let's get back to that drive to Caliopini and kind of that throw a dart kind of motion.
Ontario, way more than so what I'm saying is that I'm starting to see a little bit of like a hockey stick effect where, you know, it's starting to hopefully be one thing. And so I've also asked for people to do some research, and if people are really reaching it, I had to do this before the trillion. So if you're interested on that, you see what I have in my profile, and I'll add you to the
got a tractor of like lane shut down in Fountain Valley, 405 north of that. You know, yeah.
Data is the number one resource and also our time. And I mean, you have to understand, in like 10 years from now, people will have jobs, and then what will happen?
I've been a small business person in my entire adult life, and over the years, several HR issues I got involved in. I've been never afford an HR person. There's an answer, Bambi.com. And with Bambi, you get an HR person starting at $99 per month. Too good to be true. This is real. Bambi helps you deal with your HR problems like writing HR policy, sexual harassment training, work environment, termination, my problems, people complaining about other employees, all putting you and your business at risk. With Bambi, you get access to your own dedicated HR manager available by phone, email, real-time chat. Go to Bambi.com, type in KFI under the radio drop-down when you sign up. Bambi.com, that's KFI under the radio drop-down. I want the credit, please. Spelled BAM, B-E-E, that's BAM, B-E-E, that's Bambi.com. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Reset your rest at Mattress Firm's Big Spring Sale. Shop top brands today and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base for select purchases. Time to score big savings on your dream bed. Visit the boat champion Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the Iowa Sports Network.
And definitely got 35 points and 17 rebounds in their win over the Pelicans. So right back at the Rockets, maybe a little bit last. Roger Sackville was different.
A lot of people might have themselves on 30-28 or they might have themselves on TikTok, but that doesn't always stay.
Child runs in the family.
Go back
Athleticism
and
runs
handle
in the
my
family.
life, and that's what
Extraordinary runs in the family. The Mercedes-Benz range of SUVs. Learn more at MBUSA.com or test drive one at your local dealer.
On YouTube, and I'm on Discord, and I'm on 7 different Instagrams.
Back in the 1930s, that robot was all that stupid shit.
I want to give people a platform.
I've been bored.
I want people to have more and more.
Join us for this sordid tale of ambition, treason, and what happens when evil tycoons have too much time on their hands.
Listen to Let's Start the Tree on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite show. We have a senior how to prevent Medicare scams. If you get a phone call,
That's why I'm
never give out your Medicare number. They want to get your number, put in a false claim.
Just hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud? Just like I check my credit card statement, I check my Medicare statement monthly.
If you get this text message and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it. Call the Senior Medicare Control.
To report Medicare fraud, call 855-613-7080.
absolutely.
If you own a small business, you got some code, and you were able to retain 5 or more employees, you could be eligible for a payroll tax refund.
I know that there are certain
$6,000
issues out there.
per employee.
United
Do the
Nations
math on that one. That's real money.
honestly,
So let me suggest
I don't know why they don't make it their mission. They don't ever say we want world peace as the United Nations. Nobody knows the United Nations.
They don't get paid until your business gets paid. And businesses of all types can qualify, including those that
I was really
nonprofit, even if
really
you have
opposed to the United
increases in
States
sales
and also
during COVID.
UNESCO.
They are
and work
hospital loan
Look,
payroll
I'm
tax refund
so
program.
hard.
And they've
Sorry,
already
there are
returned
technologies out there like hydroponics and vertical farming that we can use particularly on the African continent
to
to
find
help
out
those
if your
people
business
and help them
qualifies
life
for
drugs as well. And malaria net. When I was in college, I went to Washington, D.C. With a program to study how research as civilization and malaria in sub-Saharan Africa. And really, it's with malaria, which at that time cost like a dime. And it was just a lack of funding and awareness at the time. But so definitely, I would really want to improve conditions in the what was considered the third world, and so it wouldn't just
There you go.
make it everywhere in the world. And then if you want to look at what I do here in
Your mom and dad called us to clean out your
there's
shower
something
drain.
called
They were on the street too. The dream
and
was
it's
really
terrible.
strong. Backing up. And we have to stop that
And
nasty
I
stuff
would
from
really,
invading your bathroom.
I would educate, or I would
Every
call,
day.
I would ask
Wow.
To make sure you're in the state
to make
cleaning
it
house.
goal.
Go on, Avenue
And make it like 6th Avenue in New York City. So if you've ever been there, it's a lot of people in the community that can make it really cool and give people opportunities to
celebrate
learn
the songs of surrender.
like,
Their new
so I
folk
had to
songs
get one yesterday and one close to home. I kind of helped the homeless people here in the morning.
YouTube The Edge. Join Jim Kerr to do a deep dive into the making and remaking of YouTube classics on Songs of Surrender. Follow this on the book. There was 40 chapters. So let's see if there are 40 songs that we can reenact.
Okay, I mean, yours had a
Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Classic Rock channel on iHeartRadio. Or you can follow us on
there's a lot of
Nobody has to wait in line now today. It's so delightfully insane. It's delightfully insane. Who does that sound like?
you watch the music here, and watch Facebook.
Yes, live 6 to 9 a.m. on Spotify and on demand anytime
I'm
on the
just a young
iHeartRadio app.
person, so I can't overly people, but what I can do is provide people an opportunity of a window of life within, of what life is like. Imagine if we had whatever, 1930s, people would love this. We watch footage on old footage as a civilization, like it is brand new because it's so exciting to see what life was like then. Imagine what civilizations would be able to do now.
I just like it a lot. This is your morning wake-up call for a Wednesday. Trying to make it right for you guys. If you are out there driving around this morning, my heart goes out to you. because my stomach was where I think my heart should be for about an hour and 20 minutes this morning on that freaking wild ride on the 210 to the 134A here from the IE into Burbank. You don't have to do it. Look at that. I don't even know what to say. You stay the heck off the road. This LEOT that will help you get there this morning. If you do have to drive,
it's hard to be super good at
stay
something
out of
like
this
that.
morning, please do it because
You know what I
there's
mean?
city water
I do have some
you got
challenge
a number of
on the very
practices that the worst part is you're looking down at your phone
and
you're like,
so
I
I
got
can
this crack coming
show
up
that,
and you're
but
trying
it's
to
very
listen to the
difficult to
radio, you're like,
that
okay,
on
but nothing's
on
gonna get me there. That's the good part. Don't look down at your phone.
but I definitely
Stupidest thing
understand.
you can do because then
Even the
your
best
break,
singer
you're on the freeway,
or
and
dancer
that's
on
when you're
earth can
breaking
only
in the
do
rain
that
on the freeway. Says the girl
5
who was
hours,
driving behind a
and
guy
they're
who
going to
kept
be
hitting his brakes
and then they
on the
got
freeway.
So
Good
even
morning,
if this
good morning
were
to you.
the biggest pop star of all time, who's the most
Yes, sir.
they're going to be bold after, they're
Let's talk about
judging
this. I
something.
think we
And
all
then
like
you can
to
actually
think
get
to it that we are smart enough that
on the
will
inside
not
of
fall
people. That's what I
prey
think
to
will be
some
exciting
internet
to people.
scam. But
The
I mean,
little
the
things,
bottom
the
line is,
minutia of
these are
it.
so
Yes, it'll be interesting when I see karaoke and we talk about UFOs and disclosure and NFTs and crypto and all the other interesting things on which we talk on a daily basis. But then there's also things that people want to learn about on a given day or two that the nuance of their day that they have in common with someone. From everything from eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom. There's a lot of things that have to be done with this. It's absolutely no people make medical reports. I have no fear, especially when it comes to people. I've never been afraid to say anything to anyone in my entire life.
well, right, and it's the embarrassment factor that I think that I would at first feel like, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody that I just lost on their box to this scam or something like that, and I'll just close my eyes and never fall prey to that again. But maybe in some cases, $100, you know, we felt so lucky that that's all you lost.
People really well, and if I ever did have a misunderstanding with someone, I could definitely explain. If they talk to my side, I think it's totally understood. When you're at that point in life, when you have no fear, I don't have a girlfriend out there, there's no ex-wife, I don't have children out there who are going to be embarrassed by this. But really, a unique thing for the world.
It happens in cryptocurrency. So you give the guy $1,000 like a return on investment. You like saying, I haven't spent money, so you can dump in more money. Another $1,000, so $10,000.
Yeah.
To invest in cryptocurrency. If you have kind of a big idea
more
about
than that.
cryptocurrency, the next thing you know, this person just vanishes with all of your money. Cryptocurrency investment fraud rose from 900 to
no, I keep it on
$7 million
and I wait to it.
Huge amount.
Yeah, 24/7, 365. So you can watch it on 5 different TVs. So it's always on.
Cryptocurrency investment fraud.
You know, too, it sounds like
there's no, the only time I have to get up and turn on a live stream is if one of them goes wrong. Why would that?
Just a little bit of money. So you
Like Chrome can crash, there are 2 or 3 going just on YouTube. That doesn't count Instagram and Twitter on which I'm always streaming or have them. And Twitter one's really nice because it can be 24-hour video. So that's really more. On YouTube,
and people run off with all the money from all of their investors. Because chances are you're not the only one who's being scammed like this. It's a lot of folks building into this there.
Okay, so I was seeing in this one story that I read, there was a ransomware called
at least when I came to Twitter spaces, I wasn't having anyone talk about it. I was just playing the video if I put it off. And the reason why was I'm not as talented as they know that people where I can start Twitter and have, well, I'm still pretty new, so I join people's Twitter spaces on the regular top and I was kind of just testing out other ransomware on my phone. For some reason, I've done this now 3 times. I run it to the page. I was just trying to run it for as long as possible. In 24 hours and 3 minutes is the longest that I could get.
Appropriate names.
I know other people can do it, but I'm
boys like to get into something like this. So yeah, they had extorted $100 million.
I haven't tried. The reason why
schools
and
other institutions, not just here but abroad.
All right, thank you so much, Tim.
I think I did that at one point where I was at 54 hours is the record that I would sign up. So here's how I have the record. I did 24 hours it ended, 24 hours and then it ended, and 24 hours and it ended. So I have like 72 hours. Let's say he's along with me.
And I was friends with somebody.
And I can't. Well, I just said like I've broken that one too. I have the last like 13 days on Twitter. It's just yes. So it's $5,000. $5,000 to get
this might be fraud.
So I don't have $5,000
similar to this one, or that goes by the same name as this one. And I thought, oh, but if I had
I was surprised too, but I mean, basically,
I may have very well thought, oh, maybe they deactivated their account, or they got hacked, and now they're just coming back. It's just, you know what, I guess what it is we get in this routine, and sometimes we don't think about even the simplest little ways where somebody can hack into something or get a little piece of malware on whatever our device happens to be. It's just so easy because we are kind of crammed, 5 pounds of whatever into a 1 pound sack.
Logan did
and
it. You
just get caught up sometimes.
There's no doubt about that.
And I just think that even though I like to think that I'm smart enough to not see these and I report them on them all the time and that kind of thing, if something was sophisticated enough, I think we all could fall for it today. Well, California is taking a big step towards women making the same as men. First President Jennifer People News of Los Angeles, Long Beach, and San Diego are among the first group of cities in California to sign a pledge supporting equal pay for women. She said yesterday closing the pay gap for mothers and women of color may seem daunting, but California is up to the challenge. 111 companies have also signed the pledge, which Newsom says sends a clear message to employees, customers, and constituents that women are valued and women's labor is as valuable as men. In 2020, women in California made a median salary 90% of what a man makes for the same work. We need to pay attention. Marine veterans are getting a post office in Yorba Linda named after them in honor of their ultimate sacrifice. Congresswoman Young Kim says Sergeant Major Robert Cotto and Lance Corporal Rick Santani were both killed by a bomb in Afghanistan in 2021. To let them know that their service have not been in vain, we will be able to help Yorba Linda residents of all ages and future generations remember their names and their stories. Santani's family says it was his dream to join his dad on the Santa Ana police force. Cotto was the leader of the LAPD SWAT team. Friday, the post office name will officially be Cotto Santani Post Office.
Your report would have that. They've done 365 days straight.
Can we really use this? Kyle? Coors Light. That was my favorite.
That's that Ukrainian one?
Ooh,
There's like a Ukrainian Twitter page.
You go to MRI
Maria report and Maria
Greg, fine with you? I'm good. I'll some Coors Light.
Yeah. Well, there's one main one, but that person like has to work.
Coors Light has created popsicles in honor of the NCAA tournament. Yes, Coors Light. Who needs a beer flavored popsicle?
Right now, top 3.
Well, the first 4 rounds of the game start today.
And
the beer company says these Coors-sicles.
I know, and I'm saying that as the only host.
Tastes like you crack open a cold beer.
But even we know that those are treats every like 2 hours.
The limited edition non-alcoholic frozen treats can be found in freezers in more than 800 bars
every 2 hours. You treat for 2 hours.
From now until March Madness.
We've got some kind of Leon. What is it? The Leonardo.
Apparently, while everyone is drinking their lungs out,
make it work somehow. I'm not taking it away from you. I'm saying that I would think you could do it as well.
Sportsicles are there to provide themselves. Tyler, you being a sports fan, did you ever need one of these in your life?
I probably would have tried one at like a baseball game.
If it was hot outside, right?
Yeah, if I needed something to cool down. Did you mention that they were alcoholic or are they?
No, they're not alcoholic.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah. Unless they're boozy, why? Never been on board with the non-alcoholic beer. Just give me a Coke.
I'm telling you now, as a connoisseur of them, they taste so much the same. Although, but then you just get like these empty calories and you get the beer glow.
You watch, once my thing goes viral, everybody's going to try to break all these records. And people will have like them for a long time. And I really think that they'll open up the platform to allow for this nothing unlimited things to like go for it. If you haven't seen it,
Guys are just going to be in the mid-50s to the mid-60s, but we do have flood watches all over Southern California, as well as some gusty wind advisories. And then it looks like, though, by tomorrow things should tip off. We do have another chance of storm show coming in on Friday. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. This has been your wake-up call. Let's get a look at your drive with Nick Palliotini. With Mr. Mike.
No matter where you go, please give yourself plenty of time wherever you're headed. If you can tell us today, today is definitely a day for it. Getting out of Palmdale to 14 southbound. From the far back of Avenue S, you're really going to feel the things on the 14 southbound all the way straight on through toward the spine. As you make toward the New Hall Pass, spine southbound, leaving the 14. It's going to be a big one for you for the 405. Surprisingly, not too bad for you through the valley, San Fernando Valley, that is. And it's coming away from Rockville Boulevard, kind of light in stretches for you as you make your way through the 101 in Sherman Oaks, as well as into West LA towards Sunset. Got some major issues going down for you drive on the southbound side of the 101 around Lancaster. A couple of cars down, and it looks like it's the two-right lanes that are taking right next to Avenue Canardi. Easy drive for you on the 101 southbound out of Alameda in North Hollywood, leaving the Magnolia. Got an update on this one or anything else slowing you down? Sounds big in your cell phone. Keyword is clear by traffic 15 southbound. That's a mess for your drive right now. I hit Barrier from well before Main Street, almost as far back as Bear Valley Road. And those delays will continue for you 15 southbound all the way to Ontario as you make your way towards the 60. So you'll find the sky will keep it up faster. I'm Nick Palliotini. Bring into super prices and a super selection at the Norwood, Lincoln, Hyundai, Genesis, and Volkswagen at 9 convenient locations. From the Cerritos Auto Square to the Irvine Auto Center, from West Covina to Huntington Beach, we have all your favorite models in stock. Plus, there's total peace of mind when you purchase. Thanks to our exclusive price protection guarantee.
You know, it's one of those things that, I mean, imagine right now, they could just run a banner ad on Twitter for nothing, and they're not monetized. They don't realize the type of value that they have on their platform, and that they could really pay their oath, whatever it is that they feel is sufficient for people to be on their platform. I mean, honestly, if not for Twitter's spaces, none of us would be here, like, a 90th of what we are, because your identity during tax season, which is like the engagement was all together. Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Nope. Oh no, you've been stolen. BlackRock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here. The expert Samco has been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certification, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technology. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out. AA, CL. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free.
Injured in an accident? Visit superwondersuperbonus.com.
Find EM640 or stimulating rock.
People used to do like dance off, they're all kinds of like I don't know, when I was a kid, put your hand on a car, like a radio station, and give it away a car, so we could do things the longest, and like longevity was a real thing. But once we got to the internet, everything had to be so quick. The thing that changed that I think was podcasting and the long form podcast changed that, and then you could get a Twitter space that literally lasts for days, and I'm all really interested, and they're recorded too. So there was a long form podcast, and I'm surprised nobody tried to capitalize.
Cataract free that you could do that drive-in this morning.
Yeah, surgery Monday, and took the day off yesterday. Probably could have come in, but no.
Especially
it was
AI can come
one
in
day
and
relax and
like,
go in this morning.
Logan, you were saying there that they had an innovation that really going to be out of Put in your Twitter.
Say hello to the lovely Wayne. Good morning. Hello, thank you. You are
essentially, basically when AI releases, when a Twitter space varies to what it is, whenever the people are talking about that, and then just like run banner ads on it, basically like they do on Google right now. It's really not that far from them to do that. I'm kind of a I kind of think it's a cool like private radio thing. You can say whatever you want. Nobody's really gonna flip out on you when you get commercialized. There's outlet from. It's just it's not that hard to do, especially with AI. Oh, speaking of which, I heard about ChatGPT. Of course, I know I'm not right, but next week it's gonna have an update that is gonna include like a way for the AI to perhaps not because I know it's like myself, but it will allow AI to be able to make judgments on images. So you'll be able to show it like a cartoon if you didn't understand it, and so it's like a comic, and it would be able to interpret why it's a comic is funny or what is in a picture. So that's going to be a big, and then it's also going to be the same as video. So video, audio, and image. I think are going to be a chat GPT for, like it's next update, which allegedly is second from Microsoft CTO, and that's going to happen next week. So that can change the game as well.
Welcome to the show.
Get ready for it, and right? I think that was nicer than what he said to me. Oh, definitely nice and
AI is going to really dictate what's going to happen.
That's how we do this show. Let me see what else is going on. First of all, we're going to be dealing with, obviously, the rain. So at virtually every break, I'm going to be turning over to Jennifer, who's keeping up on the news.
I don't know if you've seen Black Mirror, but basically in Black Mirror, there's
handle on
the news. So basically in the future, they have to run you through a simulation of 1,000 different parts and give people the success rate. And that's how people will rate them. They'll know what the success rate is. There's like a compatibility there. So it will be just random swipe. Unless it'll be like, you had 1% compatibility, and you might not even be shown that.
It started in Northern California, and I was actually on the phone with a friend of mine who was driving through areas watching like the roads overflowed and things like that. And I remarked to him stupidly, not that bad down here right now.
Oh.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's getting bad. We'll blame it on myself. Yeah, there's what state of emergency in Orange County.
I know I'm just a barrel of flowers with all my dystopian I really think it will give artists an opportunity in the future because they are people who can produce in the future. If you have 95 jobs in which to go, then you can't really produce anything. At least an artist can create that art and then attach an NFT to it, and then that represents something that can be passed along or can be shared or have some kind of future transaction. When your local, manager of a restaurant or a local business doesn't have that kind of opportunity.
Storm is expected. It should taper off later this morning, but between now and then, it's not really going to let up. So this morning to me, there's going to be
artists I think are afraid of AI. I think it gives them a lot of opportunity in the future to perhaps
who you remember Dan
get new ideas.
Who was the anchor at CBS News, following Walter Cronkite's continuous, and he was the anchor for many years. I interviewed him, and he actually broke out in that song, How High the Water Mama, just out of the blue. I thought was kind of interesting. It didn't sound as good as Johnny Cash, I'll tell you that.
Was he talking about the weather?
I don't know what he was talking about. All I remember in the interview was How High the Water Mama, why he was saying that.
You asked him something about what one of the favorite things, like about his mother or something, and I think he said his mom and him used to sing that song.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fun. All right, let's go beyond that.
All right, so now let's talk about this heightened flood danger. So the levee breach that left that big area, I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures of it. It looks like What is those?
Taylor, I'm totally with you. I've gotten 3 different certifications
out of an area that's been dammed, and
so
you're like, oh, look, there used to be a
isn't
community
something
down there.
that I
That's kind
haven't
of what
done.
this
It's
looks
just,
like right
you know, it's
now.
hard to share that.
And they think that this situation is no means unique to that area.
People work
You have levee system
over the
problems
course
all
of
across California.
definitely, I would like
One
to
of the
come
things
up with
that I noticed an interesting story was
I learned a
the
lot
argument that the residents of this area were the levee
in the future, if people found out about it, and they really would be interested in that sort of aim of what to have to be able to professionally
where they come home.
support that process of what it would be like to go to medical school or law school or to get to the
And my question is, how many levies were prioritized, and where was this on the priority list? Have there been levies that were more in trouble that, in fact, the authorities dealt with it? And I don't know the answer to that. I would like to know, where in the hierarchy of prioritization they came to. And do we have enough money to deal with all the levies that need infrastructure? Just wanted to throw that at you.
I'm saying that.
Just another little.
No. I think I don't think you're understanding. We watch every documentary there is that's out there, every movie that's out there, every album that's out there, music. I try to take every kind of art and bring it into it as much as possible. On top of getting certification and advancing myself education.
The federal government says it's subjecting 27 drugs to inflation penalties.
Every major book, we've listened to every single major audio book. So basically, yes, absolutely, multiple times. Yeah, absolutely, red front to back. Yeah, it's like
$193 billion to electrify its vehicles over the next 5 years. SoCal weather from KFI extremely rainy.
My mother and her mother going all the way back to the Bible
in the mid-50s to mid-60s. The support is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota dealer shopping center, let's go places like the 15.
No, all the major including Quran. I wanted them all on there. So, in addition to the Aeneas, the Odyssey, the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Aeneas, I want all the major books on this. I think people won't look at like one Bible or something better because the Bible is more and better than any other great work. I think in the future that people will study and say it has significance in society. And I want to make sure that it's all on here. I didn't want anybody to go on.
Bring back to life at Whole Foods Market with 5 yellow mangoes for just $4.50.
I agree that I played it on YouTube.
Brighten up your smoothies and salads and pounce on this deal now. Drop the buy glass.
And it's video.
Online.
And it's I think we did it a couple times because I fell asleep during it and it kept playing for like 8 hours.
Your tax refund? Think simple. As in, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund or your money back. Plus, $100. Get to Jackson Hewitt for your biggest refund.
No, it was a video of the words of the Bible. And
car, motorcycle, crossing accident, or even a dog fight. There's only one firm to call.
And
Weekdays, accident attorneys, 800, 560, 200 for the last 15 years.
It wasn't like a video. So I shouldn't say it was a video, but it wasn't like a dramatization.
And have almost won $1 billion for their clients with $188 million settled in 2022. You see, being hurt after an accident has a major impact on a person's life. The last thing you need is to take it on alone.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
Canadians have been awarded best attorneys in America and personal injury is all they do.
It ties up a lot of loose ends that other people may think haven't been tied up. So I totally, if that's your cup of tea and you believe that, then you're absolutely free to believe that. And I want to make sure that your beliefs were included in this life stream.
WeCan.com.
During Staples Teacherpalooza, teachers save big, or you save. Save 25% on classroom decor and up to 40% on brands like Post-it, Papermate, and Elmer's. In-store only, offer and for walk supply flat. Help your favorite teachers stock their classroom at Staples.
Spring's going to be here before you know it. You start saving money with solar from SolarMax Technology.
Call SolarMax. Get a
I
12-panel system for $0 down to $59.99 a
I
month.
think it was
Powerful solar panels on the market. Plus, you will launch
hold on, his mother, because she couldn't prove who his father was, and she said it was God. And how are you going to explain that as, well, whatever, the story is basically like, you tell me. I don't know. I don't want to tell you what your beliefs are. You tell me.
I'm Martin Hope, the inventor of Nevada nasal care, and I love Nevada.
I thought it was this. Basically, that they didn't have sex, that Joseph and Mary didn't have sex, but she had Jesus, and it was unexplainable, and that could have been an alien abduction. And I just didn't.
I love it. My nose feels so clear now, and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks.
In today's day, we don't have evidence of an alien abduction that occurred. They're inexplicable. But what I'm saying is nobody talks about that. Basically, everybody talks about, I guess, Joseph and Mary. They were like young, and so perhaps some, I guess, people think that this might have been like a natural kind of deal. And if you believe that, that's cool. Some people don't, so that's cool too. But if it was that, then how are you going to explain that? That doesn't really make sense. God did it, that's cool too. But I'm saying nobody ever talks about an alien abduction happen. How the hell could it have been an alien abduction and been fertilized somehow? This does happen. It's a thing that you learn about in ufology.
Race called life, and see if I can get there sooner or later, and that's what it is here. So, Walrus Shark, Saturday evening at 5 on KFI, and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here, morning crew. We continue with Handel on the news.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not.
The flood watch is still in effect. It'll last through the rest
Apparently
of
not.
this morning.
You're enlightened of a being with that government. So please tell us all about this. It's very interesting.
Okay, let's go on. Handel on the news. Jennifer Wayne. President Biden and Monterey Park yesterday announcing an executive order on gun violence very quickly. Two crackdowns on dealers who are supposed to do background checks and aren't. Crackdowns on guns being stolen or lost while they're in shipment between firearms dealers. That's public awareness campaigns, two of those. One, letting everybody know about red flag laws. The other one to promote safe storage of your firearms. And finally, the FCC is going to produce a report about how guns are being marketed, especially if they're being marketed to children. And I know that Steve Gregory coming on and Abe's got more on this and all the stuff that happened with Biden there yesterday. We'll do it at 8 o'clock. And you're not going to see too many lawsuits arguing that these executive orders are somehow in violation of the Second Amendment. These are already law. And all he's doing is clarifying what's already law. So the part of it that's going to be controversial is we want the Justice Department to better define who is supposed to be doing background.
Whoa. How are you going to do that? Connor waits that long, and then you just cut him off. Taylor, calm down, woman. Go ahead, Connor.
Do I need to? They want to clarify the law, so there might be people who currently are not being required to do
that's background check. That was nice of you to even say that.
Go ahead. Start doing them. That's where you might see some pushback from gun rights. I doubt, the gun rights group...
Yeah, don't ever put the pussy on a pedestal, kid. Go ahead, Connor.
I don't know if they're going to go forward. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be surprised. We'll find out over the next couple of months.
All right, here's a new bill that's sponsored by a Republican assemblyman.
Connor, you were coming at me with a question before getting T-boned in the intersection by Taylor. What were you saying?
In writing, once a school employee learns that a student is identifying as a gender that doesn't align with their birth certificate. So if a child
no, not currently, though I have had a dog.
And the teacher finds out about it, or a school employee, whatever.
I love animals.
They would have 3 days then to tell the family. Now, a couple of things. First off, there are people who are concerned that this could put anybody who is LGBTQ, that they could have some sort of backlash in their family. Maybe they're at school.
Yeah, great question. So,
but they're not
which one allowed you to home up to 90 days? Well, you have like I just switched what account which is 90 days, and then regular pushes out or something like that. And that's just not enough time for me to have an art night. I need this thing to be permanent. And so I did do switch. Then what I did was I started doing something called like stream labs, and then also so I Omelet is a Twitch alternate. They're the big competitor to Twitch, and they would allow me to stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Omelet itself, and the corporation all three of those. So it was like a sleeper run. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I did ask for a long time. So yeah, I was on Twitch for a long time. Honestly,
early in the pandemic,
which is more, well, they do have it's a newer channel, or newer, it's called IRL, in real life, which they actually have an issue with. So I would call Amazon and try to fix Twitch with Amazon customer support after the video. And Twitch customer support says, yeah, it's like our app is broken. And they say it on the live stream that I actually upload. So I would like try to work with Twitch as much as I could, but it just wasn't as, I don't think user friendly as I needed, but I would find that it was crashed a lot. And really, when you're doing long form streams, I need this thing to work for a long time, and I need to be able to play it back.
I'm looking, I don't know if the video is
Everything
that, but it's now about 30
pretty often with the normal Twitter, with the normal Twitch app, to the point where I was recording. I have a video of me on the phone with Twitch while they're watching me on the phone, on speaker watching me. Yeah, okay. I have your device on my tablet, and now watch what I do. It crashes. Why does it crash? And they're like, well, we don't know. Obviously, we see it crashing, and it shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, I understand this, but you have to understand that I am paying for this now. And I refuse to pay for it if it's not going to work. It's not fair to me as a customer. So basically, you know, they love having me in the customer support, I'm sure. But I have done Twitch. Let me think about the Snapchat. I built these robots that automatically post on different apps. So basically, it's an auto clicker on a phone that's basically like someone goes auto clicks the phone over a certain number of times, over certain durations, and then does Facebook. So what is it? I can have an auto post to Snapchat. So I have most of my life at like 15 seconds to Snapchat. That would just upload very, very quickly. I also have the same on Instagram. Instagram allows like 1 hour maximum or 3 hour maximum video. So I have those, and I have like 7 different streams going all the time that are just posting 1 hour videos on Instagram. So I have like the last few months of my life on 7 different streams on Instagram.
No, and
yes, you can. I'm doing it right now. No, it's not. I'm definitely doing it right now. I'm gonna do it. I'm positive. Go to Rabbi ROTHSCHILD Live, and you'll see right now hour-long videos. You could also go to Rabbi ROTHSCHILD 7. You could also go to Rabbi ROTHSCHILD 4. How many different stories?
This is what happened here. The victim actually.
Oh, no. Stories is different. I do live. No, you're right.
Down to the ground, and then the other people.
Yeah, they have Instagram Live. You know what Instagram Live? Oh, Snapchat's different. The longest Snapchat I think I could do was I thought it was really short.
Muscles from going to Planet Fitness.
Yeah, no.
People, guys would be more apt to.
No, that was I just talked about Instagram. No, you're absolutely fine. Snapchat was difficult for me 15 seconds. But its upload API, you know, the quickness that it can upload was pretty good. So that I could do like 15 seconds, 15 seconds, and I have it on a bunch of different devices. So about once uploading it, have it on another. But yeah, I mean, nobody wants to watch someone's life every 15 seconds and upload another video. It's ridiculous. So, but let's just say I tried everything. Really, one that I really like is Twitter that allows for 24-hour videos. Which is a really interesting demonstration. Just watch the entire thing. I should say YouTube does it. Look, I've had the longest YouTube I've ever had was 222 hours, which was like a long video. And that was like, why was it so long? It just happened my internet where everything worked really well, and the app didn't crash on it, and it was really good. But here's the catch with YouTube. You can only watch the videos that are 12 hours or less on YouTube. So I have like a 222 hour long video saved on my archive, and I can watch it on my archive, but I can't publish it. It can only be published 12 hours of it. So there are some limitations, but I really think once YouTube knows that they have such an opportunity here, especially with the amount of data that they have, they can change their rules pretty easily and allow for really long form streaming. You gotta think what podcasting did for audio. The long stream video is going to perhaps be for the long stream blog, really, is what it is, a video blog. But when these were popular, say, at the beginning of the century, like they were uploaded, and it would be like someone would like cut this up into like 3 hours, or it would become a reality show like The Real World or something like that. In this case, it's basically like a free blog. You can watch whatever you want, as much of it as you want, and it's free. And while people aren't necessarily watching it right now, I really think that in the future, I think this will be starting in the university level. I definitely think it is. It's like a real life casting.
Last night. News is brought to you by WBC Kitchen and Bath Center. A senior care facility in LA, and 3 of its managers are facing criminal charges related to a deadly COVID-19
like basically a person on a visit island, you can see what they do for a real life zoo. It's like a human zoo. And when people start to understand, wow, there's someone really out there who's a real life human show, a real life big brother, that's going to be really exciting.
The particular resident began displaying COVID-19 since the morning after arrival and tested positive for the virus that evening.
More than 100 people contracted COVID-19 following the patient being admitted. 14 people, including the nurse who admitted that patient, died in the outbreak. In LA, like trolling KFI News.
3 clerks at supermarkets and liquor stores in Ventura County have been accused of selling alcohol to minors. The State Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control targeted 10 businesses last week where a minor was told to try and buy alcohol from certain stores. Officials say the undercover team was successful at Village Green Market, La Bodega, and Smart and Final. They say the clerks were cited and face a minimum fine of $250 along with 32 hours of community service. UCLA has created human-like robots that will compete in the 2023 Robo Cup in trainers. Professor Dennis Hong says that there are other humanoid machines out there, but theirs is the only one capable of running.
There's a number of research robots, but Artemis is very different. It's a one-of-a-kind, very dynamic robot.
Hong says people are a long way off from being able to use robots in place of humans in dangerous situations, but says this is a start, and the team will play in the soccer tournament in Europe this summer. And author John Jakes becomes part of history.
Prolific best-selling author John Jakes started writing
talking about AI. Has anybody seen these robots in real life? Like, I've seen these robots at Walmart
the fashion
robots
the American Revolution, followed by his work in South Civil War along with his stuff.
Has anybody, and of course, you know, like,
books were also made into
has anybody seen these, the like dog shit that they have, like Boston Dynamics, or like I've seen things there, they're using it for security personnel, but I'm not sure other people.
Davis put up 35 points as the Lakers prevailed over the New Orleans Pelicans 123 to 108. Davis was the high scorer, but as you'll hear in a moment,
Half the only person
out of the
robots,
the Lakers
they're out
the
there.
Houston Rockets today, but AD will not play because it's 2 games in a row. Here's Coach Darvin Ham.
We made an organizational decision to start with our team back to hold them out back to back. So, it's still a massive injury.
The Clippers host the Golden State Warriors at 7. That game live on AM 570 LA Sports. In hockey, the LA Kings defeated the New York Islanders 5-2. Good enough to keep the Kings solidly in second place in the Pacific Division. The Ducks get the Islanders tonight at 7. And the Cleveland baseball will back to the Cleveland Guardians 8-6. Today, the Dodgers play Colorado Rockies. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. So we have weather from KFI. This spring will stay with us throughout the rest of the morning commute, but it'll start to taper off as we head into the afternoon. Highs today, the warm will just be in the upper 50s to the low 60s. Then it looks like by tomorrow we could see some sun breaks and another chance of rain coming in on Friday. 57 right now in Fullerton and in Dana Point.
Okay, well, let's either drive the DKFI in the sky, and we'll start in the Cajon Pass. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Jennifer. It looks like weather already a factor. It's slow in a lot of places. It's not normally this slow. It's this hour. Now, the top 15, that's one of them. 15 southbound that's jamming up out of Victorville, really from this area, Bear Valley Road, on and off the brakes into the Cajon Pass. In fact, that thing puts you almost all the way into Ontario. Yeah, if you transition there to the 210 westbound, on the brakes down from the 15, most of the way out towards the 71, 57 there. Now, a little gap, and then back on the brakes from another problem. That's up ahead at the 210 westbound at Baldwin. There's really another bright lane, and they say that might be another hour or so. So that's quickly building up back towards Irwindale and the 605. 710 southbound, lots of slowing now. Looks like maybe some flooding into Long Beach, but the 710 southbound already very heavy from the 105 down into downtown Long Beach. And the northbound 405 through the South Bay Curve on the brakes there for the 110, most of the way up to the 10. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the sky.
A light storage system gives you filtered and delicious water straight from every tap in the house. It filters out the chlorine and contaminants while retaining healthy minerals, and there's no filter to change ever. It's maintenance-free. New customers get a free AquaPure antibacterial filter that's worth $825. This ends March 31st. Call 800-803-2696. Visit lightsourcewater.com. Light Source Water, taste and feel the difference.
Jacoby & Myers is here to help you get the justice you deserve. We specialize in serious injury cases and have been fighting for our clients since 1972. Trust Jacoby & Myers to be your guide, your advocate, and your support system. With our unmatched experience and expertise, you can rest assured that you'll get the compensation you deserve. Plus, our consultation is always free. Call Jacoby & Myers today and let us help you navigate the legal process and get the justice you deserve. Jacoby & Myers, justice for you since 1972.
Reset your rent. That Mattress Firm's big spring sale. Shop top brands today and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base for select purchases. Time to score big savings on your dream bed.
Oh, good times are waiting on St. Patty's Day.
Now, Recovery